Okay. Let me. Okay, getting stuff started. How you doing, BX?
I'm fine. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Can I mute all the Africans today? From the chat. Like, can I just drop? Like, I don't even want to deal with them at this point. Here's the thing. For the most part, and I'm not saying there's none of us that do this. When we have these discussions, we don't get off the panel and get in their inbox. We don't mass report their pages. And as far as I know, we aren't doxing them, right?
Mm-hmm.
We pretty much, win, lose, or draw from a panel. We log off, life goes on. We might get in each other's inbox, fellow FBA, and laugh at each other. Did you hear what they said? Oh my God, girl, did that make sense? Ha ha. But these people take this stuff so seriously. I have all the big trolls blocked, but conveniently, I'm their number one target. But if they weren't in FBA spaces, then they wouldn't have no idea of who I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got to be a problem to them, and all I'm doing is using my mouth. I'm not using my fist, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I feel that there's a problem and their ethnic group is harming ours, even though we've made America the place it is for them to migrate to, I'm allowed to voice that. I'm allowed to say, I don't want unity, but I practice tolerance and tell you what it is that I see from my lens, how you are harming us. And if I tell you, I don't want to hear that's not everybody, but if you're asking us for unity, I need to know what unity is going to look like because I want you to vote the way I'm going to vote because that's how we stop some of the issues we're going through. They don't do that. And so you saw the clips that I sent you last night of the Lady Crap. Did you watch them?
Yeah, I saw 'em.
And I listed everything that they were doing, and I used facts from the government, told her how she could research it on their own, and what she said, F y'all and y'all unity. Like the demon just came out of her, and conveniently I'm their target. But I think that you need to stop playing with people who aren't playing with you, right? Because now my issue becomes when you talk about certain things, releasing certain information, I do have people in my home that I'm gonna protect. So how I'm gonna protect them and the manner I'm gonna protect them, if y'all show up at my door, is on me. And I ain't scared of jail because I ain't got no babies. See how that works? My children are grown. So you're gonna be fighting more than just me. So I think that they need to just take this loss. We boycott everybody who harms us. That's the most effective non-violent way. So instead of them talking about how can we sit down with foundational Black Americans to discuss the issues we have civilly, they want to talk about doxing and making videos to shame us to our family. Honey, my family will fight you. You know why? You know the memes that go around and they say, I may not speak to my cousins every day, but mess with them and we jumping you. Like they don't really know Black American families, right? And they don't know that when you start playing, because I'm a journalist, so I know what's legal and the means of doxing and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta understand that I have branches of cousins who enact street justice, and then I have branches of cousins that are really law enforcement officers. So then I gotta wonder how I'm gonna go at you when you're sitting on a public platform conspiring to ruin my life and anybody in my home because you're talking about addresses. So I'd rather not deal with them. But Afro Lee, again, I have the big trolls block. I miss all the good stuff. They come to me, BX, guess what happened, BX? I said, what happened, y'all? What happened? Because I like gossip. So I'm missing all this stuff, but conveniently I'm your target. Why? Because y'all are meddling in our business coming to our pages. So I think they need to sit down Afro and do some inner reflector. If we don't want to be bothered with them, we don't. And we are not obligated to spend our money with them. But because we're giving them billions in revenue, they scared. But how about changing the behavior?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of targeting us, change your behavior. So that's where I'm at with it. But I could be calm, but like the Abbeys and stuff like that, I don't have to block them. But I just kind of want to mute them for a little while because they don't get to play in my face so long.
I understand.
Baby, I've been boycotting them since 2020. That I've been boycotting the Asians since 2016. This is the only willful thing that I use from the Asians because we do know everything is made in China, right? 2023, I've been boycotting the Africans, and now I'm figuring out how to lock out the Latinos because when you go in their nail shops, you face microaggressions. So I got smoke for everybody. I'm on board with big boycotts of large corporations. Why? Because it's the most effective nonviolent way to demand change. And I ain't going to change that for nobody. When I made a promise to my ancestors and my people to demand the respect that we fought for throughout history on this land, then I'm going to keep doing it. But at the same time, they don't need to be in our space if they don't even understand us anyway. It's a comprehension level with them.
I'm gonna say this. The situation that we have going on with the diaspora. Now, this is in particular Africans. This is not the Caribbeans as far as the boycott is concerned. I know Africans do braiding shops. I don't know of Caribbeans doing that. I don't think that's really their go-to businesses. But as far as the Africans are concerned, it is so unfortunate that we're even having this conversation, that we've even gotten to this point. Honestly, this is very unfortunate. This is really ridiculous at this point. But the thing is that this has been a problem for a very, very long time and has gone completely ignored, is gone unaddressed. And every time somebody does try to address the problem, it gets gaslit, it gets laughed at, and we get told we need to just turn the other cheek and leave it alone. Okay? So we see constant things and disrespect, and next thing you know, if we say anything about that, we're the bad guys. We've been taught that we have some type of obligation to support everybody, and nobody has an obligation to reciprocate the support that we give them. Now we're at the point where we're demanding reciprocation, okay? We're demanding the reciprocation of the support. And if you don't want to do it, that's fine. We can't make nobody do it. But if you're not going to show reciprocal support, then we don't have to show you anything. The situation with the Hispanics and ICE in LA, where they're asking us to come and help them, and they're getting upset that Black America is showing indifference towards them. This is because a lot of them have grown accustomed to feeling that we are obligated to support them. Even we have political parties that feel obligated for our vote. We have been so supportive of everybody that they've grown to feel obligated. Honestly, they've grown to feel obligated we are obligated, rather. We are obligated to support them. We must do that. And now we're showing them different. Here's the thing. If the boycott is in August, you got about a good 10, in 10, 9 days, something like that. If we have that, the smartest thing, if I was African, the smartest thing to do would be to have a conversation and say, how did we get here? Let's have this conversation. I don't even want y'all to feel this way about us. I'm seeing them bragging online. Oh, y'all can do it now. Oh, we not scared. We not scared. That's how y'all want to go about it. Is that honestly how y'all want to go about it? And every single time y'all brag about how y'all don't care about the boycott, you're reinforcing that you don't care about our feelings. Okay? And that's further pushing people into the boycott. They don't know that what they're doing is working backwards, okay? They're furthering people and they're reinforcing the reason that there was even a boycott in the first place, okay? That's what's going on. Because instead of sitting up there saying, you know what, even if they disagree, let's have a mature conversation about why you guys feel this way about us. Why do you guys feel the need to boycott whatever, whatever? Why do you guys feel this way? They're saying to them, they recognize their behavior and they have no intention on changing. That's their stance that I'm seeing many of them have as far as the boycott. And that's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. Okay? And I want to give this warning out. Foundational Black Americans, when it comes to boycotting, nobody does it better than us. We are the ones who set the standard. Nobody was doing boycotts before we were doing it. Okay? We're the ones who set the standard. Y'all can't go back to a boycott before we was doing that. We put boycotts on the map. We made that a strategy against fighting oppression and a strategy against making a stand against disrespect. We're the ones who do that. I really want y'all to understand something. Boycotts is something y'all really can't afford, honestly. Okay? Ask Target right now. Ask Essence. Okay? Ask these things. If y'all don't think boycotts can be effective, if y'all think folk playing game, because I'm trying to tell y'all right now, white folk ain't shopping with y'all. Asians ain't shopping with y'all. And Hispanics ain't shopping with y'all. The only people shopping with y'all is Black Americans. Those are the only people. We are the only people shopping with y'all. And y'all gonna act so uppity. That's really how y'all acting. Y'all acting so uppity and high and mighty that y'all hearing about an upcoming boycott and daring it. Okay, all right. That you really now you want to dare the boycott instead of, and as a smart business person, if you owned a Walmart or McDonald's or whatever, and you heard about an upcoming boycott, you would put out a public statement to try to settle the boycott before it ever reached them. Okay, fine. Now, at first, the lady who did it, she was talking about the African braiding shops. But what y'all trying to do is double down, acting like it's not going to affect you, which it is, because if it wasn't, you wouldn't even be talking about it. If y'all weren't scared or concerned, y'all wouldn't even be bringing it up. But y'all bringing it up. So, okay, now it's going to go from the African braiding shops to another African thing, to another African thing. And it doesn't have to be this way. But because of that, and y'all attitude and y'all stubborn, ignorant ass disposition is going to get a lot worse. I don't know why y'all don't learn the easy way. Y'all don't let it, too many of y'all don't like to learn the easy way. And it's so unfortunate that we've even gotten to this situation. That we've gotten to this position. That we've gotten here. But, it is what it is. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I'm not going to sit up here and trip about it. I'm not going to do that. Got a lot of people in here. Y'all can come up. It's not just me and BX. I just did that. And so, but we got a lot of people coming up. But that's the thing. As far as the boycott, you said what?
I was saying hey to Millie because I saw her say hi to me. So every now and then I just greet them.
As far now, here's okay.
Go ahead, Afro.
Here's the thing. I personally, me and BX, we don't have any personal issue with just Africa. We don't have a personal issue with Africa as a continent. There's a lot of people on the continent. It's a lot of different countries on the continent. We don't have that personal issue. What we have is an issue with disrespect from people who come from the continent. And the thing is that those people are not the majority, but those people stand out because the majority doesn't address that. That's the truth. When we get disrespected, when we get called lazy, when we get called unintelligent, when people say that we got baby mama issues and violence in the community and we don't work hard and pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, they don't address the disrespect that comes from within their community. They don't do that. And then when we address the disrespect that comes from within their community, what they decide to do is they decide to gaslight, and they'll say, well, y'all just anti-African and y'all just really hate yourself. And it becomes that. It becomes us being quote unquote anti-African or Afrophobic. That's a term they're using now. It becomes that. So we can never, before the problem reached this level, we can never properly address the issue. And the thing is that ultimately you're going to reach a point with anybody. You're not going to be able to, let's, everybody got to mute up because there's background noise. You're not going to be able to come to somebody else's country and just do what you want to do indefinitely and forever. Okay? Because that's colonization. And we're just not going for that. All right? We're not doing that. Y'all come over here off of the strengths and sacrifices of our ancestors. And that we have never took issue with that. But y'all will do that, and then y'all will turn around, and then y'all will sit up there and say, we doing better than y'all. Y'all will turn around and first off lie and say we doing better than y'all. And we've been hearing generations and generations of y'all bragging about how much quote unquote better you guys are doing. When you actually look at the comparison, y'all not really doing better than nobody. You're really not, honestly. But we've had to deal with that and deal with that for the longest time. That y'all quote unquote doing better. Y'all got better culture. We don't have a culture. We don't know where we're from. And we've had to silently just turn the other cheek and let you guys say what you guys want to say. Okay. For the longest time. And this has been a whole thing from the community. And it's not, what's very disparaging about this is that it's not just one single country. It's the entire diaspora, unfortunately. And we got to address that because the entire diaspora comes over here to seek refuge. They come over here for an opportunity that doesn't exist where they're from. That's the truth. We don't go over there for an opportunity that doesn't exist over here. There's no opportunities where you're from that doesn't exist here, but there are opportunities here that doesn't exist where you're from. So you all come over here for opportunity, whether that's a job, whether that's education, whether that's whatever, for opportunities that don't exist where you're from. You all come over here and seek refuge over here, and yet you disrespect the people who fought for you all to come over here by saying you guys are doing better, which is not the truth. That's not the truth. And it's a thing of not just one country, but the entire diaspora likes to pile up. And there's this, it's almost like some type of inner circle thing that the whole diaspora has against us in particular. And we've been playing with it. We've been trying to play nice for the longest time. We've been trying to play nice for the longest time. And at this point, it's up then. At this point, it's up. So as far as the boycott is concerned, I wish to God it didn't reach this level. I honestly do wish it didn't reach this level. Hold on. I'm gonna let y'all go. I wish it didn't reach this level. But the thing is that there does have to be lessons learned. And I do understand. I understand. Because you all will come over here, you guys will put your businesses in a black community, a black American community, and then you guys will go back and then talk about how much better you guys are doing. As if you guys didn't need to put your business in our community. As if you all don't need us to help you. So, okay, all right then. BX, can you set the decorum and we're gonna get started?
Afro, I was just sharing out the live. So when you come out, the panel's full. Hey, panel. So when you're
You're gonna have to
allowed
move
up to
somebody.
speak,
But
yeah.
keep going.
So I recognize somebody. I'll say it after I set the decorum.
We don't care. Fuck FBA.
Okay.
Right. So hi ZZ. So when you are allowed up on the panel, Hey, immediately go on mute until directed to speak. When you are directed to speak, please lead with your race and ethnicity. And if you're over 18, you really don't have to give your age, but just we need to know that you're allowed on these panels. So when I say race and ethnicity, let me explain it to some of y'all. So I'm gonna take me personally, right? So I am a verified Black American. So my ethnic group, my race is Black. My ethnicity is Black American slash African American, and I culturally identify as a foundational Black American. What this means is that my ancestors can be found living in the United States of America, the region that is now known as the United States of America, between the periods of 1863 through 1865, and found on an 1870 U.S. Federal census, right? So if your ancestors does not meet that eligibility requirement, then you are not a Black American, African American, nor can you culturally identify as a foundational Black American. You are your country of origin, which means if you have two parents who are from Jamaica, then you are Jamaican American, so on and so forth, like Haitian American, Nigerian American, Ghanaian American, Trinidadian American, so on and so forth. And we're not saying there's anything wrong with not being Black American, but we ask that you be honest, especially during this time when the waters are muddy. So I do understand that maybe African American wasn't defined to the Black immigrants and they didn't other themselves, but we are working hard to correct the censuses and we are securing some wins. So you will see some changes in the censuses. With that said, please keep it TikTok friendly, language only, meaning code all words. This is a children's app, and you have to basically speak as if you're talking to a child. So say self-deletion, unaliving, strange fruit, a hard candy, puffery, or broccoli for, that stuff there. Also, in the chat, do not drop fruit emojis, do not comment TikTok shop, anything like that. Continuously engage to stop the live from glitching and also to protect the live in case somebody slips and cuss. Now, I got to say this. If you continuously cuss, then I'm going to drop you and you can request back up. So please like, share, and click that heart, that orange heart by Afro Elite's name, and complete the daily mission. It helps keep him in the algorithm, and it helps improve his rankings so that he's on the For You page. Afro Elite does invite everybody up to share their perspective, but we ask that you be respectful. I'm going to try to stay on mute, even if I hear something I don't like, but I don't like misinformation. And if you are an African who was born in America and think that makes you African American and you double down on using that, I want to tell you can't migrate into my ethnic group. So I will stop you then. So please identify correctly. I think that's it because I don't want to ramble.
Yeah. Let me appreciate you. Let me say this. Okay. I honestly do hate the fact that this conversation is even a necessity because there's so much other things we could be talking about. But the thing is that we keep having to come back to this subject because of what is going on. We keep having to readdress this. And I'm going to say this, for the longest time, we've been patient with everybody. But right now you are dealing, and I'm telling this to every non-FBA, every non-Black American, listen to me. Right now you are dealing in an era, you are living in a current era where we have more ethnic pride in our culture. You see this? You see this? Do you see what I'm talking about? We have more ethnic pride than you have ever witnessed before. And I'm talking about not just one place or another. I'm talking about collectively and across generations. Old men, old women, young men, young women. We have more ethnic pride than we ever have. So the disrespect is stopping. Okay. We do not have the patience and the tolerance for the disrespect. All of the turning the other cheek stuff is over with. So if you're saying you're going to brag and talk about you don't care or whatever the case is, I'm letting you know right now, a lot of people said they didn't care. Clearly, you see that didn't work out for Kamala. That didn't work out for Fat Joe. That didn't work out for Mexican OT. That's not working out for Target. That's not working out for everybody can brag and act like they don't care. But you're not going to come to, just like we wouldn't, you're not going to come to a nation that other people set up for you and off of opportunities that other people set up for you, and get to puffing your chest out like you doing something better than them. We wouldn't do that to you all, but you all are doing that here. And you're doing that to the wrong group of people, because there's a renaissance that we're having that you guys are not ready for. And if you guys want to keep going down this road, it's going to get ugly, economically speaking. Okay, because we don't condone violence here. That's not what we do. All right, just economically speaking. But yeah, let's get this panel started. We got a lot of people, almost 300 people in here. Let's get this panel started. All right. Before we go, let me get to the co-host. ZZ, if you wanted to say anything, opening up, and then we get to the hands or the other guest.
Hello. How are you?
Great. How you doing?
Hey.
I'm good. Good to be here. Good to see y'all. Speak to y'all again, should I say. But peace to the panel. Peace to the chat. I'm definitely glad we're doing this conversation again. Yesterday was very interesting, to say the least. But it is very necessary, for sure. I'm glad we're having this conversation because, unfortunately, like you said, it is necessary. There's a lot of anti-FBA propaganda going around, especially on TikTok. Very much on TikTok. It's kind of surprising because I feel like it would be more prone to Twitter to see that, but I feel like it's not really on Twitter as much, but on TikTok, it's very prevalent on here. So I'm glad we're doing it on this platform. And I hate to see it, again, and I made this point yesterday, it kind of comes with the game, we as us, I'm glad you said that this is the most ethnically proud that we've been, because before a lot of people think about, the 60s, 70s, but that was a racial movement, we was proud of our blackness, which is, we all for that. We still very much pro-black. But it is time for us to be very specific in our language because we're trying to delineate and we're trying to get these reparations by. So we have to be specific in who we're talking about in our group. So yeah, this conversation is very necessary. We have to push back on the propaganda because it's real out here, and I think it's the CIA, to be honest, sending some of these Negroes specifically in tethers to our conversations and starting TikTok lives and having these panels with non-FBAs that's talking down on our community and our lineage. So yeah, we have to have this conversation for sure. It's necessary.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Let me tell you something. As much as we are, honestly kind-hearted people and good-hearted people, we are people who are not going to sit up here and then let our lineage be disrespected. Okay? That's the least to us, me, ZZBX, and all of us here. That's the least we can do for all of the sacrificing our ancestors have done for us to be in this position, is not let their legacy be disrespected by people who are coming in and exploiting their sacrifice. I'm not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's get to the hands.
Before we get really started, I do see other mods in the room. How strict are they to be? Because me, I just bounce everybody. Yeah. But we do have a good crowd. There's 250 in the chat already, and we just started. Y'all get these likes up. We should at least be at 15 with 250 people in the room. How strict do you want the mods to be, Afro?
Not too strict right now. I want them to see the chat room because this proves a point. The chat room proves a point. If they're saying anything, I want the mods, if they are saying anything that's going to mess the live up, if they're putting out words or something like that that's going to mess the live up, you get rid of them. Okay? But as of right now, let them show, because there's a lot of people in here. Let the people see what they have on their mind. Let them see that, because this proves our point. I've been seeing a lot of stuff, and this is proving our point in the chat room. All right. Okay. Then later on in the conversation, then we're gonna just stop the nonsense. But I just want to verify that what we're saying is legit, because that's what they're doing in the chat room, unbeknownst to them. That's what they're doing.
Thank you.
All right. And shout out to the other mods. Let's get to Saray. That's how you.
Yes, that is. How y'all doing? Hey, VX. I am Black American. I'm from this soil. I'm a Florida baby. Parents from the South. I am well traveled. I grew up overseas in Saudi Arabia during the Gulf War and came back to the States and went back over. either way, my message that I want to give, that I'm strong, I'm very passionate about, and a lot of people know I get kind of heated with this, so forgive my passion. Ladies, I need us to protect our crown. Do your own hair. We've been doing it anyway before they brought their tails over here. ZZ, your hair is beautiful. Because I saw somebody down there in the chat talking about where did she get her braids from. Either she did it or found somebody to do it. Either way, we were not handicapped. We've been styling and profiling around this piece. I'm an 80s baby, forgive the lingo. So I need y'all to protect your crown. Whether you do it yourself, grow yourself, or go back to your homegirls, go back to your grandmothers, your mothers, to each other. Take that money and put it back into our specific community. Stop letting these women touch on your heads. I done duetted videos, especially that one particular one where this woman is calling us a whore in the ghetto. It should, your grandmothers and mothers taught us and raised us to not let anybody touch our hair for a reason. Not because they put hard work in doing it up. It's because it's energy. Our hair is hollow. YT people hair is solid. That's why it's oily. Our hair is an antenna. It picks up frequency. You cannot let these energies and entities be touching on your crown. They don't like you. That's why y'all walking around here with no edges. They snatching them out. Our kinkiest hair is still softer than theirs. We don't need them. We invested in them because we thought it was something, but now we're finding out it's nothing. They literally, this woman called us a ghetto whore. It's not we're going to delineate. It's not that we're going. No, we are. We are investing back into ourselves. We are loving on ourselves. We are a community. And I don't care if you're claiming yourself to be Gullah Geechee, Indian, whatever. You grew from this soil. You ain't flew here. You grew from here. So grow yourselves and grow the community and hit them where it hurts, the pocket. And don't forget it. Forgiveness there's no more grace. They had enough grace. There's no more forgiveness. People speak what they feel out of anger. They just needed an opportunity to say it. So they're letting you know how they truly feel about you. You would never want that type of energy or anything on your crown. Protect it. That's my only message. Don't let up. When you close your wallets and your purses, keep them closed. Because that's how they feel. I don't care if they come with an apology. I don't care if they come with changed behavior. It don't matter. I believe you the first time. Maya taught y'all that. That's my message. I'm done.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
For sure.
Thank you. Let me see. Let's get to the next because we got a lot of people. How do you, Trolanda? That's how you pronounce it.
It's Trelonda Pleasant.
Trolanda. Okay.
How you doing? I just want to real quick, BX, I love your mind. I love your black mind. I love how you come with facts, and I just adore you. I adore your mind. I really do. I just want to put that out there real quick. And as far as the boycott is necessary, now I'm lucky because there's braiders in my family, young ones and teenage and all that. I've always been able to get my hair done within my family. You know what I'm saying? So I never visited the African braiding shops, but I understood they were a convenience if you didn't have that in your family. I get it. But the disrespect, I can't take it anymore. I'm in Washington State, okay? And I'm like ground zero of Africans. I'm telling you. And they are so off-putting, off-standing, and they are mean to Black Americans up here. They won't even engage. You understand? Not even you living in an apartment complex with them, and you try to kick it with them, they be like, I ain't with that. I don't want that. And it's cool. And it's cool. But then to turn around and you've been undermining Black Americans at the same time to where you take over an apartment complex and you make it so we can't even move in there with your funny smells in the hallway. I can't take it no more. I really can't. I can't take it no more. Just because you work at the airport, you think you the shit. You're not. And we can't even unionize because you think the little crumbs that the white man give you is what's up. And we're like, that's not enough. I don't want to be stuck at $17 an hour. But they're like, no, we want to do this. And they overcrowd the apartments. They be kicked out because there be 50 of them in one. I'm exaggerating. You know what I mean. There's a quota of how many people you can have in an apartment or whatever. Bring in, and then they throw everything at the trash. They just bring down the quality of life when they come around. And I can't take it anymore. I seriously, so yeah, I'm delineating. I'm not messing with them no more because they need to feel the heat. They need to feel what it feels like when we separate because they took our kindness for weakness, and I can't take it no more. And I'm going to park my Cadillac right there.
Thank you. Let me say something real quick. Whether you use the term FBA or Black American, it's the same thing. And they attack FBA and they frame it as a group just to justify their attacks on the lineage. They have an issue with the lineage. They don't have an issue with a supposed group. They try to frame it as a group so they can justify them attacking us, all right? Because I've seen them make jokes and say the very same things about Black Americans or African Americans. Do you guys remember earlier this year, a few months ago, when New Orleans, and it's funny, it's happening in New Orleans. In New Orleans, there was a Zulu parade. And with the Zulu parade, you saw some South Africans just find out about it, okay? They took it the wrong way because of the name Zulu. And that went on Twitter. And on Twitter, and there's screenshots and all that stuff. On Twitter, they was all like, oh, African Americans, okay, well, we're going to have a cotton picking parade. How about that? How about we bring chain? I got screenshots of it. And I was all like, damn, that's how y'all went about it? That's how y'all took it? They made fun of Harriet Tubman. They made fun of slavery. They said, are y'all the least educated? It's just, it takes this much of you guys, quote unquote, being offended for and it wasn't just South Africans, mind you. It takes this much of you guys feeling slightly offended for the whole diaspora to pile up on us in particular. Nobody else gets treated that way. Okay? But everybody else is like this axe everybody has to grind with us in particular. Remember when Sha'Carri Richardson, when she was disqualified?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And remember how everybody was sitting up there and the whole diaspora was kind of like ha and then laughing and mocking that she was disqualified, or the other time when she lost to the Jamaicans or whatever, and everybody was sitting up there kind of happy that she lost for whatever reason, like she did something to somebody. And we saw that a lot with the last Olympics, that they it's not them wanting them to lose, wanting them to win. They want us to lose in particular. It's this secret axe to grind with us that they don't have with anybody else. And when we call that out, they'll gaslight and act like they don't have that. But we see that with Michael B. Jordan. We see that with Sha'Carri. We see that with the Zulu parade. We see that with Juneteenth. We see that all of the time. That y'all will dogpile with the slightest opportunity. Y'all chopping at the bit to do that. So, and we notice it, okay? We notice it, and we done with it.
Yeah, it's always in the name of trying to humble Black Americans. Especially with our athletes, they always like to say, "Oh, I just can't wait until she gets humbled." I can't. They're doing it with Clarissa Shields right now. I just can't wait until until she gets humble. You know, she just needs to humble herself. She knows she needs to get knocked down a few notches. And it's crazy because, just like you said, this is the most ethnically proud we've been. You know, in our history on this land. So it's like for us to have this moment where we're finally
they're being trained Those Jamaicans are being trained at our colleges, and when the Olympics come around, they go to the other
Okay,
team.
hold on.
They're being
Yeah, yeah,
trained by our colleges.
that's
That's how.
true. Thank you. Oh, you can go ahead.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, ultimately, I think that they're trying to hide behind this. Oh, she needs to be humble, or they need to be humble. With their anti-blackness, really, what it is they have a level of vitriol for us, and that's their kind of scapegoat is saying, oh, well, they just need to be humbled. She just needs to be humble. So yeah, that's something to look out for. It's a very cowardice behavior.
Mm-hmm. That they don't have with other athletes.
Yeah,
They don't have with other athletes. When athletes, you know, Jamaican athletes, Caribbean athletes, African athletes, they can brag, they can be cocky, whatever you call it. They can have that type of attitude, and they like it. It's confidence, it's conviction when they have it. When we have it, it's arrogance, and it's something that we need to not have. We're always being told we need to get knocked down a peg. Okay, we need to get off our high horse, even if we don't do anything wrong or whatever, or we don't do anything that other athletes aren't doing. Is a very particular thing that we see with athletes, that we see with celebrities, that we see with our culture, like Juneteenth holidays and stuff like that. All right, that we see with Essence Fest. So you're not going to tell us that we don't see this. We've been seeing this for the last few years, and at this point, where it's up. Then it's over with. Then
What I'm saying is,
hold on, it's not your time. Hold on. All right. Let me see.
Angel Reese too. Somebody say Angel Reese for sure.
Yeah. Let's see. Passport bro / red pill.
now, are you able to disagree without resorting
Is
to
that
anger?
your hold on? Is that your phone?
Wait, hold on for a minute.
Yeah, because it sounds okay. It was static.
So I
Are
got to
you
give you the
able
history
to
of Passport Bro.
now?
He says he's Tyreek and she's ex-best friend and he could out-debate Tyreek. So he comes on these apps and has debates with us and swear he cooks us. So I
Okay.
guess he's here to test his skill this time
All
around.
right. That would
You do you know the difference between disagreement and disrespect?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, all right. So good. First of all, I grew up with Tariq Nasheed. We were best friends in high school.
Okay.
At the same time, I'm Pan Africanist.
Okay.
So even though we grew up together, and I know how he became the way he is, we don't share the same views.
Okay.
I actually have an African wife, a beautiful Ethiopian African wife. I chose her. See, while you guys are talking about sports, they're concerned about family structure, culture, good morals, working hard, building businesses.
Now hold
You're
on,
proving.
brother. You brought up Tariq. Tariq is not here. I don't like to speak on now. If you want to talk to Tariq, you can almost
I'm
every
not going
day.
to speak on Market. I'm not going to speak on Marcus Sanders.
Okay, but you brought him up, so
I'm not going to
you
talk
brought
about
him up.
Marcus Sanders. I grew up with him. Okay, I know probably more about him than you do.
That has
I,
nothing to do with the conversation, though.
all
Yeah,
right,
and
fine,
he's not
fine,
here,
fine,
and you
fine.
haven't
I
brought
don't
him
care.
up.
Y'all
Okay,
came on the new live. Y'all been talking a bunch
fine,
of bull crap.
fine. You know what? Here comes the
But
look.
no, I want you to go ahead and you
Let him
talk
land
about
his
your.
plane.
You talk about
Okay.
y'all stop because if y'all do that, I can't hear, so I'm gonna have to drop you. We're having a mature conversation. You talked about the fact that you married a Ethiopian wife, right? Okay, and here's the thing. I'm cool. That's great. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's no problem with that. Okay. Now, what I don't like is the fact that you're going to pick this Ethiopian woman, and now you're going to sit up there and act like she represents a culture of high morals and standards and values and things. And she might be all of those things. She might be a very great woman. I'm not trying to disrespect your wife, but you can't act as if the woman that you pick just because she happens to be Ethiopian means that she represents all of these great things that we don't. Okay? You can't say that.
Once again, you're debating a passport bro red pillar, so you're gonna have to think for this one. You're gonna have to actually use your brain. Now let's look at the marriage
Let's not be
statistics.
disrespectful
Child,
now.
listen, let's look at the marriage stats. Black immigrants, 62% marriages. Black American, 29%. So they are doing better for marriages, and study shows only
Married
7%
for
of
green
black.
cards.
And
Okay,
you
stop.
know what?
Stop.
Here
Nobody
comes
else
the
interrupt us. Me
unverified
and him.
claims. Here comes
Okay.
the unverified claims. And also they have the lowest divorce rates. So not only do they have higher marriage rates, they have lower divorce rates. So black Americans have the highest divorce rates. Black immigrants have some of the lowest divorce rates. Okay, and their income is higher. Okay, their incarceration rate is lower. So the fact is, they are doing better. As a matter of fact, and you know
Are
my
you
wife
talking
told me,
about?
she, you
Are
know
you
what?
referring to those in the
You know what?
country?
Excuse me, brother. I
No,
want
wait, here
I want
comes
you
the
to
No,
interruption.
everybody, no. We're not gonna have
Here comes the
the whole
interruption.
panel conversation. Now, if I say something to Ezekiel or BX, then that's that. But y'all, everybody can't come off the mic.
Are you talking about when you talk about these rates? Are you talking
They,
about those within the country, on like on U.S. soil?
I'm saying black immigrants have, and that's one of the reasons why I chose a beautiful, not fat, by the way. Okay, 8% of Ethiopian women are overweight versus like what 6% of youth. Really? Their women are clearly nicer. Okay, their women are nicer. Their women are more polite, and guess what? Their women actually respect their husbands. And you know what's great about this? You would never hear them say, "I don't need no man. I don't need no man." By the way, they speak better English than you. My wife says himself, you say hisself. She says themselves, you say theyself.
You know
Okay,
Then why are you still
so
what's
angry?
interesting? Hold on, because you've been, because
now look,
the thing
we're
is that,
talking
hold
facts
on,
only.
brother, because the thing is that if you want to have a debate, you need to make a point and then let somebody
All
respond.
right, fine,
Right now,
fine,
no, hold
fine.
on, brother. Right now, what you're doing is you're just ranting,
And
okay?
being
And
very
this is not the
disrespectful.
place for
All
you
right,
to vent
fine.
your
Black immigrants
frustrations,
are doing
okay?
better. Black immigrants are doing better when it comes to family,
Mm-hmm.
morals,
Okay,
unity,
okay,
and moral behavior,
okay,
and investments.
okay,
They treat their men better.
okay.
Okay, they treat their men way
Okay.
better,
Well, we get it. We
way
get it. We
better.
get it. We get it.
Man,
We
okay,
get it.
so
Because
look, I'm just
the
telling
thing is,
you,
stop,
this is my
stop,
argument.
brother,
They are in fact better.
stop, brother, stop. Because you've been going on. Now this is a rant.
Bro, I am an African, but I have some disagreement
Okay,
with
you're
this
gonna
guy. Can
have
you
to
please
hold
allow
on.
me
You're
address
gonna
him,
have to hold
please?
on. Here's the thing. They do better financially, economically, all of these things. Why is this not reflected where they're from? This is not none of what you're saying. Hold on, because you want to come off the mic and I let you go on for this rant. None of what you're saying at all is reflected in where they're from. The morals and the family values and the peace and the respecting the men and all of this that you're claiming, you're bragging about the fact that they're doing. None of this stuff is reflected in where they're from whatsoever. As a matter of a fact, a lot of them come over here and they do the opposite of what you're bragging about. I'm seeing a lot of videos, a lot of the modern day feminists, the ones that you complain about, the ones that brag about black men ain't this and black men. A lot of these women are foreigners. Remember the woman who lied on the internet and said she got hit in the head with a brick? She was a foreigner who had a scam going on with a bunch of foreign men. Okay, these are people who come over here and they have fights with each other and they do scams amongst each other and then they project onto black America. Because she didn't say
Sir,
it was, stop it, stop. Because she didn't say it was a Somali man. She said it was a black man who did it. All right. And then that became a discourse between black men and black women. All right. While you want to brag about how much better they are, they're coming over here and doing absolutely nothing different than the women that you're complaining about. As a matter of fact, the problems that they bring in, and I'm not going to say, oh, maybe your wife is very different, but the problems that they bring in is unique and different than the problems that we have already had to deal with prior. All right. That's the truth. They're coming over here. You're saying they're doing better. Better where? Okay. Because only a few of them get to come over, and that's the top 10%. And the top 10% of any, and I got to tell the truth, the top 10% of any African country is not beating the top 10% of Black America. Okay.
They're not.
We make stop. Y'all talk about we brag.
As
They
soon as I
make more
respond, you're gonna lose
income.
the argument.
There is no stop. There's no Black ethnic group that makes more money than Black America. That's incorrect. No, none of them make more money than us. All right. That's that. I don't know where you're getting that from. None of them make more
Are
money.
you ready for me
None
to
of them
respond?
have more. If they had more morals, you would see that reflected in their nation, and you don't see that there. They left their nation to come here for a reason, with no intention of ever migrating back. They never have the intention of migrating back because they don't do it. Now, you sound, brother, with the whole, and they're not fat, and they're doing great, and they're doing great. Okay. What you sound, brother, is you sound bitter.
For me to respond, or
No,
for
I'm
you?
not. You
Of course you're
sound
not.
bitter
Okay.
right now, and this is a little off subject, but you sound bitter. And
Yeah.
as a man, how old are you? Because if you said
If I
you grew
respond,
up
you're
with
going to
Tariq,
lose the argument.
you should be around your 50s, right?
Yeah.
If I respond, you're going to
And the
lose the
fact that he's
argument.
still holding on to that from high school, it's like, I
He
don't know
hasn't
why
let
he
it
thought that
go.
was going to validate
As
or
soon as
anybody
I
gave a
respond, you're
damn.
going to lose the argument.
Okay.
I love to hear
Please.
this. Go ahead.
I don't know why he came in here.
Sir, but I'm just trying to respond. Sir, notice you didn't mention statistics. Of course you don't mention statistics,
What
because when
statistics?
you
What
don't have,
statistic?
ma'am, sir, I brought up marriage statistics. If you look at notice, think about my argument and your argument.
Hmm.
You're using like one example. I'm using statistics, which looks at the grand scheme of things. Notice I said the marriage statistics. You're talking about, if you look at the marriage statistics and the income statistics and the divorce statistics and even the birth rate statistics, Africans are winning. And that is the very reason why you did not mention stats. And let's
Let me
talk
bring
about,
stats up then.
wait,
Let me bring
sir,
stats up. No, it's my panel.
sir,
No,
may I
stop it.
finish,
No, you
may
may
I
not.
finish my
No, you
claim,
may not.
please?
Sir, stop. No, you may not. So if you want to bring up statistics, they come over here. Now, let's be honest about it. The ones that get selected to come over here, because it's not like any of them can come over here. Only the top 10%. Okay,
Oh,
they have to go
marriage, they
through.
come up here through
Sir,
marriage
stop.
too.
No, stop.
Right.
No, stop. Because the narrative that we've been taught is that they are coming over here and they're just hardworking people. Only the top echelons of them get to migrate over here with different school visas and work
That's not
visas
true.
and business visas. So a lot of them had some level of stability. And I know there's a lot of immigrants, first generation or direct immigrants in Chicago. So I talk to them and I know I know about the immigration process. Okay. So it's not like anybody get to come over. Only a cherry picked hand few of them get to come over and immigrate into America. So if you're
Explain K1 visas.
stop, sir, stop, because you're taking your statistic out of context. You have to put it into
Talk
context.
about
If
K1
you don't
visas,
stop it,
meaning marriage
because the
visas.
thing is, no, because I'm gonna get to that. The thing is that if you're gonna take the top of anybody, take top 10, take top 15, take top 30% of them and compare that to the top 30% of us, we are doing financially better. I did say there is no other country that is doing financially better than us. The top 30, top 50% of them is not doing better. What you are doing is you're taking the top 10% of them, giving them our opportunities, and then comparing that to the collective. Okay, the sample size you're using is
That's a lie.
disingenuous. If you compare apples to apples, which is what you are not doing, then you will realize that we're beating everybody. Okay, you can't take the top 10% of somebody from another nation and compare that to 100% of everybody. You have to take the top 10 to the top 10. And our top 10 is beating their top 10. All
Bro,
right.
your top 10 had like, they had a head start. Y'all had,
Okay, you gotta, yeah. I told people not to interrupt no more. You want to talk about the
The
marriage
highest single family.
statistics and all of that,
Oh, hold on.
sir. You want to talk about the marriage statistics and all of that stuff, and you want to put that on the feet, really, of black women. Which the truth of the matter is that marriage has gone down in America collectively. Okay, and foreigners, and that's the truth. That's what the statistics say. That's not just black America. That's black America. That's white America. Hispanic. All of them. Marriage statistics. Now, if we want to have this conversation, which is not the subject, by the way, but if we want to have this conversation, we can do that later. But marriage in America is going down and divorce rates are going up. That's across the board. That's not
Sir,
no black.
sir.
Stop, sir.
No, it's not
Stop,
across.
sir. Because you're being disingenuous. That's not no black phenomenon. All right, it's not. But the thing is that now if you want to bring it in, foreigners, they do have lower divorce rates. That's not a black thing or an Ethiopian thing. That's a thing across the board. All right. But the thing is that a couple generations in, they start to pick up on the same divorce rates in America. So that's not a black American problem. That's a problem that we have to discuss across the whole nation because everybody's going through that. All right. And a lot of times, a lot of them keep their marriages and their families intact because they have to. A lot of them get married for green cards. There's a lot of green card scams. There's a lot of people who got a wife over here and a girlfriend over here, and they got two different. It's a lot of that stuff going on. While you want to talk about morals and values and stuff like that, they got the African Papa was a Rolling Stone all over America. Let's not do that. Let's not be disingenuous about it. Okay, because I know some
Any stats?
who have stopped.
You
I
haven't
know
mentioned
some
one stat.
who has stopped.
What?
I know some African men who have a wife and then they have a black American girlfriend. I know some personally. I ain't gonna say their names because they might be listening, but I know some personally. So they get down like that. So don't talk about no morals and values and all of that stuff. No, they don't. Don't do that.
Mention all these stats. You know why you're not mentioning statistics? Because you're gonna
Mention the stat,
I
right? You
just
just said they get married more.
every single
What's the
statistic. You're
difference
going.
in stats though? Cause see, black men who
May I
get
finish my?
married
No, you
marry
may
black
not.
women
May,
the
may,
most.
may I?
Bitter old ass. No wonder Tariq don't fuck with you. Damn.
Nah, for
Oh,
real.
stop cussing. Oh my God, I be cringing up here, y'all.
Oh
Y'all
my
make the
God.
Chicago come out of Afro Elite. Look at that.
Y'all
Where's
do.
Halo? She usually loves to come when Afro Elite is on.
Yeah, he was clearly.
Well, I wanted to say some things to the brother, but he.
And yeah, all of these and I knew the whole passport, bro, red pill statistic and all of that stuff. Let's not be. These people take statistics, and like I said, you got to put the statistic into context. He didn't want to do it. Oh, you're not bringing up statistics. No, I'm putting your statistics into context. We can use your statistics if you put them into context. You want to take the statistics and you use that in a very disingenuous manner to say, oh, they're doing better and they're doing better. And what about them? And look at their culture and look at that. And I say, okay, that's not reflected in where they're from. And then you come over here and then you'll take the top 10 who's making like what, 6 figures, which is great. They're not doing anything nobody else is doing. Their top 10 is not beating our top 10. He doesn't have a rebuttal for that because that's the truth.
Well, the thing about it with those
When I
type of
said
brothers,
collectively Black America makes more money than everybody else, he doesn't have a rebuttal for that.
Nope.
yeah, and the thing about it with those type of men, they go out there with a veterans check that they was discharged from the military with, and it's little Social Security money that they get of $500 a month, and they go out there and get those women to financially abuse those women. So they can't make it in America because they don't have enough money to live in America. So they go out there, they probably get $500 a month, and they living like a king, and they think they all of that. And no shade to anybody who, have the virus, but a lot of those men are HIV positive, and they are infecting the woman.
Code that.
Okay? So let's keep it real.
Yeah,
And
let's reset the panel. Okay.
okay,
Yeah, because he just threw
Because
it
Yeah.
all
that
the way off.
energy, that energy, I might have to take that whole segment
I
out
just
and, you know,
I
probably.
want to say this. I'm sorry. I want to say this. I allowed it to go on because we did say stop the anti-FBA propaganda,
Shoot.
right? That's Afro Elite's front. There is a lot of propaganda surrounding Black American households, their marriage rates. I've been told Black men don't want us, but when you check the rates, while our marriage rate may be lower than some, when Black men get married, they marry Black women the most. They marry white tea women at a rate of 11%, and Hispanics even less at 4%, right? So they still primarily marry their own, right? And that hasn't changed since 2017, and I believe you can find that on Black demographics if y'all want to double check me. So that's why I didn't cut in. You know, usually after I'll cut in when I see the chat saying, "Can we do this? Get back on topic." But we do have propaganda around it, and passport bros have caused such a concern in other places. I believe South America that they can't go visit there unless they have a certain amount of money in their bank accounts now. So I don't know. I think that's legal
Passport bros
PIMPing.
are really
Yeah.
what they're doing. They're not passport. They're international tricks. That's
Yeah,
what they're international
that's a
and
good
call
word.
it what it is at that
Yeah,
point.
And
They're
Pizzeria though.
international tricks.
yeah.
Let's say he has an Ethiopian wife. Let's say that, or whatever the case is. That doesn't represent his wife. Like I said in the beginning, your wife might be great. I didn't disrespect his wife at all. Your wife may be fantastic. You don't get to pick her and then say she represents Ethiopia, because if you can't pick a great Black American woman and say, well, she represents that. Now, you're saying the representation of Black American women is fat, is ugly, is disrespectful, and all of that stuff because of a few bad experiences, but you have a few good experiences with an Ethiopian, and now all of a sudden all of them are great. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and you could tell he came in hella disingenuous because he started with, "Do you know the difference between disrespect and what was and a disagreement?" But then you go on to disrespect foundational Black American women. Like you just went on this whole rant and just started to even deter from your point because you just felt the need to go on foundational Black American women. And let me just say this: you can tell that it's one of these international tricks with these passport bros, one of these weak-minded Negroes, because their first instinct is to go on the women. You're talking to a Black man, and your first instinct is to say, "Well, yeah, the women are just da 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 da, and the women are and the women are." And first of all, you got Black American women on the panel right here. I'm not overweight. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. So, hello, if we just gonna be picking and choosing, cherry picking, you gonna pick and cherry pick your wife to be the representation. Why don't we cherry pick me? Because I'm not overweight. What are we talking about? So, yeah, he's just very disingenuous, very cowardly, and he's a Tariq fan for sure.
yeah,
Obviously,
yeah. Those are international dusties. They're not international men. Those are international dusties.
oh for sure. I like that more.
Thank you. Talking about he knew him from high school. You don't know that person no more.
Yeah,
You
I'm-
changed in high school. You changed. You changed. You're not the same
Hey,
person you was in high school.
hey, can I speak?
Afro Elite.
And I want to say something. Notice that Tariq has a notice the difference that Tariq took and he took. Tariq has a huge platform with thousands of people come on and talk to him, and yet he's on my platform talking to
Right.
me, okay, with no profile, no status, no recognition whatsoever. He's really a nobody that nobody knows. His name is Passport/Red Pill, okay? Nobody recognizes or cares what he thinks, and he's talking about somebody who people actually do care what they think. You know, and you can see the direction because how you view. Listen, you can love them or hate them. Black Americans, we are one community. There's no different community of Black men versus Black women. The men, women, and children is what makes up a community. You can't separate an element out of the community. You can't do that. So love them or hate them, they are your women, and they do reflect your community, whether you love them or hate them. Just like with women, they're your men. Love them or hate them, they are your men, and they represent your community. So what's best is to find a way to not deal with them like it's a problem. What's best is the find a way to be compatible with them.
Mm.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question.
Big.
Hold on. Oh boy, BX. Let's Okay, we're gonna reset the room. We're gonna get back to the prompt.
Yeah.
Okay. I might, to be honest, that was so off
Drop.
kilter.
Okay.
I'ma probably separate that out of the live and have that be its own little segment. Okay, because it was just
Okay.
really off topic, to be honest. It was
But let
kind
me
of
ask you a
not off
question,
topic
Afro,
because
before
it
you keep
is
going.
anti-FBA propaganda, but it can be its own thing.
But let me ask you a question before you go on. Can I ask you a question?
What's your question?
Okay. Is statistics facts?
Is statistics facts? Not in all circumstances, no.
Why? How come it's not in all circumstances and
Because in
statistics
certain
come from?
circumstances, statistics is really raw data. And when you study it and you study math, you have to factor in different factors. That's why I said not in all circumstances. You have to factor in certain conditions, environments, and other factors into what plays into those statistics, because they can be misconstrued, they can be misinterpreted, and they can be manipulated. All right. So in a
So
lot of cases, but in not all circumstances, are they flat out absolute facts. Okay, because there
so
are
if
a
I
lot of
so if I
circumstances that play into that. All right.
so if I put up a video of me changing a motor with a 9/6 wrench and have 5,000 comments on there, and 3,500 people saying you could put this motor on with a 9/6 wrench because they mechanics, would that be called statistics and a fact?
No, you lost me. I'm sorry. Well, I don't know what that
Okay,
means.
if I put a video up and I'm changing a motor with a 9/6 wrench,
Okay.
and 5,000 people come on there and comment, and 3,700 people said the 9/6 wrench is the right wrench to put the motor on, would that be a
No,
statistical
it would
fact?
not.
No.
No, it's not. No, it's not. And that's exactly what I said. Okay, because the people who are in your live stream, you don't know if these are real mechanics. You don't know if they know what they're talking about. So that can be, you're going to take that as data, and that can be artificial. That can be manipulated. And then the
Okay.
thing is that every single mechanic is not going to watch your live.
Okay, let me
Okay?
ask you this.
And
Let
and
me ask you this
and
last question.
and on top of that, every mechanic doesn't agree on how to handle certain things. Every
Okay, I
doctor,
disagree.
hold
I
on,
disagree
listen,
with that.
sir.
But
Listen, every doctor doesn't agree on how to deal with certain things. Every dentist doesn't agree with how to deal with certain things. Every politician, everybody in a field doesn't agree with how to deal with a certain thing. So that's why I'm saying you have to put the context into the situation and other factors. You can't just say, well, a lot of people said this, so this is the truth.
okay, let me ask you this one last question, and you can go ahead with your panel. Okay, I disagree with what you just said, but go to the next argument. Okay, if you is you do you consider yourself as an intelligent brother?
I try to be, yes,
Okay, if you intelligent, why not just go back and forth with another man instead of cutting them off?
because I am intelligent.
That's not
That's
intelligent,
why,
brother.
because I'm intelligent and I'm
Beat them
hosting
with
a
the mind.
panel.
Don't beat them. Beat
Sir,
them with the
hold on.
mind. Don't beat them with the
Sir,
pause button.
hold on, sir. My hands are crossed.
You kept cutting the man off. We never
No,
heard
sir,
what he
no.
said.
I let him go on. And he kept repeating himself. I have hundreds of people in the room, and his conversation was off. First off, it was kind of off subject, and I let him go. Then he kept repeating himself, and I said,
Okay.
okay, you're gonna have to make a point. If you want to debate, which is something off subject, if you want to debate, then make a point and land. He was not
Okay.
landing his point, so I had to cut him off. So I
Okay.
could
So
so I could address what he had to say. And then as I was addressing what he had to say, he kept coming off his mic. He was not waiting for me to be done. He kept coming off his mic as I was addressing him. So I had to cut him off.
that ain't what
There
I
were
said, brother.
multiple times when he kept doing that, and I had to cut him off. And that's what I have to do. That's what you have to do when you're operating a live stream this large. So there can
Okay.
be order and
Okay.
everybody
Last
can
question. Last
understand.
question. Give me
One
five.
moment.
If you
No, you
intelligent,
asked your last
give me
question. That
One
five.
was your
moment.
last
One
question. You
Give me
said
moment,
one more
five
question.
ma'am.
That was your
statistical
last question.
facts.
Sir, sir,
Give me
sir.
five statistical
Not
facts from the
all,
black community
sir,
right now.
sir. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Not only that, though, even people in the chat was telling me to drop him, but I was basically allowing Afro and him to have the interaction. And from my viewpoint, Afro let him give his spiel. Right, once his spiel was over and Afro was rebuttaling, he kept cutting off Afro, and that's when Afro would stop him. That's how I saw it. But if
Okay.
he was bringing numbers down, they're not interested in a passport, bro. This is not that panel.
Okay,
This
skip
They
the
wanted to know
passport, bro.
why.
Skip the
Right.
passport,
How
bro.
does that
That
help
is
us
one.
Yeah.
progress
he
not
came
That
here
is
today?
and
one.
he centered
Hold
himself.
up.
And to
Skip
be
the.
honest, I was more than fair to allow the subject first because it's not what I planned on
I don't
discussing.
think you was
I
fair,
was
brother.
more than I don't care what you think. How about that? You can leave. Okay.
I think it was another passport, bro.
God,
Well, I just
Well, what's
yeah,
your time? Before we
absolutely.
go on, y'all, I gotta find out his time because it's 6:10 and Afro also runs YouTube Live. So what's your
uh
time looking like? Because we're at
I got about
6:10 Eastern Standard Time.
I
Man,
got a
I'm trying
good
to speak.
a good like
Please.
hour
1
and a
minute,
half, I would say.
Beast, 1 minute, hour and a
Yeah, I
half.
gotta start
Okay,
getting ready at like 7. I gotta be out
Yeah.
of here at 7.
7 Eastern or
Yeah.
Standard, ZZ or Central. I
Eastern.
mean.
Oh, Eastern. Yeah, I forgot we on 2 different time zones.
Okay, so you got 50 minutes. ZZ has about 50 minutes with us, y'all.
Yeah, we don't have to do that then. Okay. So do you the whole first off, the whole thing with the motor, that didn't make no sense. That
Yeah,
didn't
that
make
was
no
a
sense.
survey. What the hell he
Or
was talking
whatever.
about?
And then he sent up that, yeah, that's not no data or statistic. That's not a statistic. What are you talking about? You don't even know what a statistic is. And
Yeah.
is statistics absolute fact? No. You have to factor in context, which is
Yeah.
what a lot of the passport bros, they like to skew statistics to rationalize their bitterness. A lot of them are bitter and losers. Okay? That's the truth.
Statistics is not bad.
Now, okay,
Going, are
can we
we
get
going in
to
order?
let's get back to the prompt, okay? Or are there any more passport bros?
Damn.
Okay, let me get y'all out the paint. Are there
Cause
any more passport bros we
Look. Can
gotta
I
I
was
get rid
supposed
go?
to be the
of
Can I
reset.
before we
go?
can get back to the prompt,
Can
please?
I go on and talk and just go on,
Are you a
or I gotta
passport?
get
Are
up?
you a
You sound
how
like
did
Get
we
up
me.
get
here.
You
here?
sound
What are
like
we
Wait,
me.
Look.
doing?
didn't he just
First
get up
off,
here?
wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
What are
No,
we
no,
doing? I'm
Damn.
no.
not
Nope.
There's an
trying to be a
Please.
order.
passport bro.
There's an
Oh my
order.
god.
There's a lot of emotional unintelligence going on this
Yeah,
panel right now.
for
Y'all
sure.
are not practicing staying on your. There's an order, sir. I don't care if you cut the
I don't,
camera
you know
on
what?
or
He's
not.
gone. He's
Yeah,
gone.
see.
We
Okay,
have
so
entertained the passport
Afro, Afro,
nonsense too
Afro,
long.
I have been with you
see
since you
this
introduced the
here. I didn't
program.
even get to
Okay,
give
hold on.
guidance out.
He's not. What do you where are you from in Africa?
I'm from Liberia.
Liberia. Okay. What's your mind about the prompt? The prompt, the prompt, the prompt. Not no dating or nothing. The prompt.
Um, I'm coming from a different point of view. My point of view is more of a unity than a division. I know there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of misfeeling, and people are unhappy about a lot of things. But I think unity brings more success than division.
Okay.
So my point of view is more of how can we come together as one than divide as more than one. So when the brother was making his reference from Africa, that was one thing that I felt dissatisfied because that's not helping. It's just creating more division. Like you depicting black against black. I don't care whether that is Pluto black versus Mars black, whatever planet you come from. I really don't care. All I know is black, and I would pick a black over any other race, whether I know that black or not, whether that black accept me or not. But when it comes to life and death, I'm gonna pick a black. That's how I look at it. So with all of these things going on, my point, I only look at where the problem is and how can we resolve the problem. But if you don't know the problem, then you cannot find a solution. Right now, I don't know how all of this came up, and I'm
Okay.
just seeing different videos online about how black is going against black, and this other person is unhappy with the other person. The other person said they feel better than this person. I don't know where all of that came from, and from my own point of view, all that I can
Okay, well,
say is
let me
how
let you
can
know.
we
Let me let you know.
resolve
Okay, so we can get with it. Let me let you know. The thing is that for decades, okay, Black Americans have been brainwashed by the dominant society and have been taught collectively that we are not from here. We don't have any claim here. We really don't have a culture, that we're like lost generic people from somewhere in Africa, really with no nation, with no tribe, nobody to claim, no people to claim. We're like peopleless people. We're stateless people. All right. And what has happened is a lot of the diaspora has been indoctrinated with that belief, and they have resentment, and they enforce a lot of similar beliefs of bigots when they come here to America. Not all, nobody is saying all. No, I've never said all. Not all, but too many, enough to be a big issue. All right. And over time, we've been hearing things like we don't know where we're from, we're lazy, we're unintelligent, all of these things. All right. We've been hearing that for a very long time. We also have learned, now that we have, social media and we can interact, we also have learned, and a lot of people have been told, that their parents would teach their children not to play with Black American children. They would teach their children, hey, don't go out there, don't date any of them, don't be friends with any of them, don't be around any of them. They've been taught in a lot of their households to be distant from us, that which is something very different from what we've been taught. We've been taught, really, especially with the Pan-African movement in America, we've been taught to have this embrace of Africa, okay, and to have an overwhelming love for Africa. And I'm saying this one more time. Nobody is saying all, but we have people who've come up here and they've testified as to what their family has done. All right. And as to what goes on in their community. So when we call this out as Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, we get told that this is a lie, that this is a hoax, that we're making this up, that this doesn't go on whatsoever, even though we do have witnesses who are confirming that this is what goes on. All right. So we're starting to see a vitriol that is in the home, that is rooted in the home against us. And now we're starting to put the puzzle pieces together as to why it seems like the whole diaspora likes to dogpile Black Americans. All right. I use the example with the Zulu parade, where a lot of South Africans believed that we were culturally appropriating the Zulu tribe. And then next thing you know, they were talking about whips and chains and slavery and Harriet Tubman, and y'all uneducated and y'all don't know anything and we doing better than y'all. It's a lot of them who are online bragging about the fact that they feel like they do better than us, bragging about how much smarter than us they are, how much more culture they have, and how much we need to get behind them. All right. So at this point, a lot of foundational Black Americans are saying we're done with that. We're not going to sit up here and allow you guys to come here off of the sacrifice of our ancestors to disrespect us for no reason, because you guys got some type of axe to grind with us, this one-sided beef that you guys have with us. We're done with that. And it's not just the diaspora. You can see the same thing happening with the Hispanics, which is why they're asking for our help and not receiving it. You can see the same thing happening with even the Democratic Party, which is why they're asking for our help and not receiving it. We have a different disposition on everybody now. Okay. We done an analysis of how we're treated by everybody else, and we have a very different disposition. All right. So that's how it's gotten to this point. The situation with the hold on, I'm almost done. The situation with the boycott stemmed from foundational Black Americans having an issue with the way Essence was handled. And we had an issue with the removal of our culture in Essence and the replacement of it with African culture and Nigerian culture and stuff like that. We took an issue with that. Then you had a whole bunch of Africans on TikTok saying, well, where we bought it, we can do what we want to do. Y'all can't tell us to do anything. We bought it. Why are y'all always complaining? Y'all sound xenophobic. So then the sister was all like, okay, if that's the energy y'all got, we don't need to shop at y'all businesses if y'all got it like that and y'all better than us, because that's what they were saying. So that's why we even have the conversation of a boycott coming up. All right. So this has been an ongoing thing, but this is stemming from the disrespect in the diaspora. So what now? If you want unity, brother, I would say you need to go to them in
Yeah,
their
I
lives and
want,
their
I want,
panels, and you need
I
to
want, I
combat
want.
their disrespect here, because we're not going to Africa telling them that we are better than them. We're not doing that. We're not going to the
Yeah,
Caribbean telling
I
them
have.
that we're better than them. They're coming here and telling us that we're better, that they're better than us.
I have been to a couple of Black African community life, and I have shared my own view about this whole topic since yesterday. I was on one, and on my way from work, I've been on this for 1 hour driving, but I said let me just get home, then maybe I will have time to contribute. So if there is there's any people disrespected in Africa, Liberian are the most disrespected, and everybody looked down on us because of how we were treated. And you will be shocked to know, like, this is something everybody can look up. Yesterday when I was referencing the same old thing, other people were online and they proved my point. So we had the same issue. We indigenous Liberian, were enslaved by Black people that were repatriated from America to Africa. We were enslaved for over 100 years, from 1847. Not 1847, the repatriation started around 1822. From 1822 up to 1980, that's when the indigenous Liberians start to rebel. So, when I mean slavery, I mean absolute slavery.
Okay.
I mean people in chains. The Blacks that were repatriated after the abolition of slavery, the Black people that decided to go back to Africa, because a lot of people was not forced. Some people said they want to go back voluntarily. Some people decided to stay in America. The people who were repatriated back to Africa, they went and treat the indigenous people who welcomed them, like they gave them land. They went and treat them
Oh
as
wow.
slaves for more
Let
than
me ask
100
you a
years.
question then. So do you mean to tell me that Liberia, or the land that became Liberia, there was no colonization and you guys were independent, you were free people before Black Americans came from America and went to Liberia?
Nigeria is one of the only
Hold
countries
on.
that
Yeah,
I'm
was
that's
never
asking
colonized.
him.
that's
I'm asking
no, no,
him.
no, no. I can, yeah, yes. Yeah, Liberia is one of the two countries in
No,
Africa
you
that
were
were never
colonized.
colonized.
You were colonized. And Liberia was
No,
already previously
no,
colonized, and there was already captive. Stop. Because you all
it
tell this
wasn't.
story very disingenuously. All right, there was already stop it,
No, bro,
because there was
listen.
a white person, a white abolitionist, who bought it, and that's when he
No, no,
sir,
no. It wasn't
stop,
bugged. No, 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 no,
stop.
no. Listen,
I'm
I'm
not about
telling
to do
you,
this
it
with you.
wasn't bugged. And
Okay.
But
so,
he's from
look,
No,
this
Liberia.
is
this
the
He
is not
got
the
some.
problem, because you're gone. This is the disingenuous story that they're telling. He talks about unity, quote unquote, and then when I bring up what they did, he wants to sit up there and make it seem like it's a tit for tat. Okay, it's not a tit for tat. They tell the story very out of context. Like I was just saying, the importance of context. Liberia, they were already captive. Okay, they were not free, independent people, and then they just welcome Black Americans, and then we say, "Hey, man, that slavery thing we went through, let's do that to them." That's not what happened. They were already captive there. All right, and then they had and then they had some, not hundreds of thousands, but they had some Black Americans who went over there and then they immigrated. All right. And then there was a rebellion there because there was already beef and tension going on with the slave masters who were there prior. That's why a white abolitionist, I keep forgetting his name, he had bought land in Liberia, which he from other white people. He did that so he could ship Black people to Liberia around that time. So they tell the story out of context and very
And
disingenuous
still,
to
it was
say
never
we
established.
do something to them. When I say we don't go over there and disrespect them, they bring up this Liberian story, which is completely irrelevant to what we're going through today. All right, which shows me he doesn't really care to fix the problem. That's what it shows me. Oh boy. All right, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let's see. You kept coming up. I think we dealt with you before. Rockheads LLC.
One moment, because I'm
Huh?
sorry. While he was talking, because there is, so we got to remember the Caribbean went to Liberia too, right? The
That's true.
Caribbean and Black Americans also have the same surnames. So when y'all come up on this panel talking about you descend from FBA, I need you to prove your lineage, right? I usually don't ask this, but you're not going to blame us for stuff that we may or may not have done. You make the claim, you prove it, but I've been on Grok. And it says, did Black Americans enslave Liberians? That was my question. The historical record does not support the claim that Black Americans directly enslaved Liberians in the sense of chattel slavery.
Mm-hmm.
Because they
Yep.
never came back. So how are we responsible for what
And
those
y'all
people
got,
did?
Yep.
okay, y'all.
And,
So,
and see, and every
Liberia is a
single time.
precarious place. Is that the right word? Precarious, peculiar. We will never really know because a lot of our people, they said, were unalived.
Mm-hmm.
But they did not enact a form of chattel slavery
That's true. Yes.
amongst them. It was a white tea man who founded Liberian. And whenever you mix white tea people in with black people business, there's going to be some issues, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And also, I want to say this. We acknowledge that we have our own black diaspora, like the Africans have theirs. Our black diaspora looks like Canada, those who went into Mexico, Liberia. I think somebody told me Sierra Leone, so on and so forth. Things happen to them there. Oh, Dominican Republic. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how I could forget that. So things have happened. They are not necessarily Black American, but they are Liberian with Black American ancestry. Does that make sense? Because a lot of times I find that the Liberians are coming on these panels, act, oh, well, I'm Black American because I have the ancestry. They'll have our last names and the flags in their bio, but everything about them goes against FBA because they try to drag us. See, he did it a different way. He did it a little, oh, but they came here, they enslaved. Yeah, we know about slavery. We study this. We have historians. And doing our genealogy, we do find out things. Don't come up here playing in our face,
Yeah.
especially after we're giving you the floor to talk. So I just want to say that our people did not enact a form of chattel slavery on them. And white tea people actually founded Liberia in the sense when the Black Americans went there. We know how white tea people are. But if you're going to come up here and bank on the fact that you got some ancestry because either the Caribbean or the Black Americans went there, I want you to prove if you Caribbean or Black American. Where do you descend from? Because I ain't taking a hit for the Caribbean no more. We ain't one big happy Negro family when everybody's coming at us. Everybody's pew-pews is aimed at us.
Mm-hmm.
So come correct or don't come at all. And I'm a land there. I'm a land there.
We're gonna
That's
move
me.
on. We're gonna move on, but the thing is that I didn't even have to look up the whole thing about, like, I already know. I know about I know about American history, and I know a pretty decent amount about foreign history and African history. That's how I know about the situation with Liberia. I knew he was telling a disingenuous story because he came up here trying to say he wants unity. And when I say, okay, well, you guys have been doing this, he tries to make this false comparison, this false equivalency to us enslaving them in Liberia. And I said, no, that didn't happen. And then he kept going and going and going and wouldn't let me land. So I had to remove him because he knows for a fact that that's not what really happened. Okay, he knows. Oh yeah, we welcomed you with open arms. No, you didn't, sir. No, you didn't. That's not what that's not what happened. You're mistelling the history because you're trying to make a false comparison to excuse you guys' current disrespect. And I'm not gonna let that happen. We know too much here. We're too smart for y'all to be doing that. Y'all need to try with somebody who don't know.
We can move on, but is it
Yeah,
true
but
that American Liberians, because of the civil that's going on between them and the indigenous, they try to hide the fact that they are American Liberians?
A lot of them, yeah.
Americo, I think it's
Yeah,
right. So a lot of these people, oh, I'm Americo Liberian. I'm not believing them
a
right
lot of
now.
them
I'm
don't.
not.
A lot of them. And then some might have like some mixed, they might have like an Americo-Liberian answer. But the thing is that when they came there and they completely denounced their American heritage, okay, and lineage for a Liberian lineage and started that became an ethnogenesis for them. All right. So that was their beginning of their ethnogenesis. So they don't have claim here anymore. They don't have that. These people don't have that. They have a whole different land now. So let them have that. You don't get to immigrate and then come back 200 years later and talk about, yeah, you still have claim here. No, you don't. That's not how that works. We've been here, we made here, and we stayed here. So that's it. But for the sake of time, we're going to have to put people on the timer because I want to get to everybody, and there's a lot of people who want to speak. All right. So let's get to, let me see. You keep saying Beast Poppy. What's your race and ethnicity?
Man, I'm a full-blooded American.
Okay.
You know what I mean by that?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, okay. My question is, why we just don't call ourselves foundational Americans instead of FBA?
Because we're black.
But black is a adjective. That's not a pronoun. It's a color. And when you read law dictionary, black law dictionary, and how the courts and other people look at, they will say that that's pale skin. We not pale. We absorb light. We're not devoid of light. So we're full-blooded Americans.
Okay.
So why not call ourselves foundational Americans?
Black means different things depending on the context you use the word black. So in the context we're using the word black, we're talking about a racial category. So we are we are in the racial category of black. So that's why we use it.
Okay, but every other culture, every other nation don't use the adjective. You don't hear Africans calling themselves black Africans. You don't hear Australians calling themselves black Australians.
Their
So
history wasn't black
why
out.
not just call us Americans? Because that's our actual identity.
They do call themselves Black Australians.
Okay,
Called
hold on.
Aboriginals.
No, not like that. Not like that, brother.
Okay. You mean as far as this? Because the thing is that when you say foundational Americans, it takes the term that's a very solid term and it makes it more ambiguous, and other people will be able to take claim and slip into it. So with using the term foundational Black American, that's a term that is very specific to our lineage. When you take the word black out of it and just say American or foundational American, it becomes less lineage specific, less lineage solid. So that's the problem there. So that's why we use that to make sure we
Can I go after
protect
you?
the lineage.
But when you read Noah Webster's dictionary and these other documentation about our history, Americans means melanated Negro people. Talking about us.
Okay.
That's the real American. Hold on. American is a race. That's us.
America is a race? You said what?
Chinese people? That's us.
Wait, what?
Americans.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on. I didn't hear you. You said America is a race.
Yes, that's us. We are the American race. Yes.
And you said we're Chinese?
Oh my God! You didn't hear what I just said?
No, I
did
didn't
not
hear
say
you.
that. I said that can't ascribe to. That's ascribed to us. Ascribe meaning that's belong to us by birthright, in general. Asian people don't get called. Asian people shouldn't be getting called Americans. Europeans shouldn't be called Americans. That's only belong to us.
And as let's say, for the sake of the argument and time, let's say that's very true. The problem now that we're dealing with currently is that other people are called Americans and other people are classified. And now whether that should be the case or not might be a different story. But as of right now, we have to deal with what we have right now. And right now, America is classified as a nationality, not a race. So a lot of people who have the American nationality are classified as American. So if we just say we're American, that's not specific enough.
You could take this to court like I did and you could use it in court. I used this in court when I was in Arizona court and beat my case. They know who we are. When you got to claim who you are, like the book
case.
says, huh?
Are you
It was a
talking
civil. It was a
about
civil case. It was a civil case. I'm not trying to hear
now?
my
Are
voice. I
you
don't care about that. I'm
one
talking about the
minute?
people.
Are you
Go ahead.
talking about the birth certificate and there's a number and stuff? Because there's a lot
About
of.
none of that. I'm talking about us
Okay,
being
thank
the
you. I
actual
just needed
actual
clarity.
first
I
people
just
of this
needed
land.
clarity.
We
Thank
the
you.
Okay,
first people.
and I don't disagree with that. But if
Hold
you
on, hold on, but hold on. I promise you, I promise I won't cut you out. I know this your lie.
okay,
When you say you black, they think you talking about pale skinned people. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
no, but
That's
no,
what it.
they are not.
No, but hold on. I'm listen. I'm trying. Listen, brother. I'm not coming against you. I understand we are. When we say black, I understand what we say. I'm talking about with these other people. When you're dealing with the courts, when you're dealing with the law, when you're dealing with other people, when you say you're black, you saying silvis mortis, meaning you're dead in the eyes of the law. We live in under color of law, and we live in under reality. And the reality is that when you call yourself black, they think you're a dead, unalive person. Y'all can say drop me, but I'm telling the truth. That's why I said, why not call ourselves foundational Americans? Because we are the foundational Americans. Every other culture knows this. Every other people know this. This is an Asian girl right now on TikTok. She's getting blown up on TikTok because she's calling the people out saying, why y'all not telling the black people that they are the actual Americans, and why y'all not respect them in their own land? This is stuff that's going on right now. That's in TikTok streets. But I
Okay,
mean,
sir, let me
go
ask you a
ahead.
question then. Before we were ever called black, when we were just called colored people, did we go through any less oppression? Before we were referred to as black people, did we go? Because we've been called a lot of different things. We've been
Yeah, we got
called colored.
reclassified many
We've been
times.
called Negro. We didn't
Right.
have a name at all. So the thing is that no
But
matter what,
Negroes still
sir,
identify as
listen, hold
American
on.
Indian.
Let
My
me
bad. Go
say,
ahead. Go
sir,
ahead.
no matter what we identify as, we are still dealing with the system of YT supremacy. That's the situation. It's no code word or phrase that they're going to be like, oh, well, they got it now. I guess we
There's
can't
melanated
oppress them
people
anymore. The
that's
thing
ruining things,
is
brother.
that
That's
when
all.
you talk about changing our names have changed throughout the time we've been in this country, but the oppression stays the same. If now, I'm not going to say we shouldn't reclassify. I'm not even going to argue what you're saying. But if you're saying the reason why we're at where we're at is because we call ourselves black, there, when before we called ourselves black, we were still in this situation. You know what I'm saying?
We're in the situation because they destroyed us by the pen. We got to battle them by the pen. That's what happened. They couldn't beat us physically, so they beat us by the paper. People think this is a joke, but this is real. This is really happening. They
Wouldn't this be a
destroyed us
step
by
in
the
that
paper.
direction?
Hold on, stop,
I'm
stop,
not. I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth. They
sir.
destroyed us by the pen. They destroyed us by the pen.
Sir,
The pen is mightier than the
let
sword.
me ask you a question. Do you believe that white supremacy is our problem, our biggest problem?
No.
Okay, well I do. So
No,
that's where we
no,
disagree.
just no. Hear me out. Hear me out. It's not that. It's not that because if I tell you that we are the actual white people, a lot of y'all gonna laugh at me. But
Okay,
we are.
okay,
We
well,
are.
yeah,
I'm saying
okay, well,
us.
yeah,
I'm saying us.
we're gonna move on. Thank you.
Yeah,
Just
thank
hear me.
you.
Y'all
No,
gotta
Thank
hear the
no,
you.
matter.
no, no,
No,
no.
we
We're gonna
heard
There's
move
you.
on,
melanated people
We
that's
heard
running things
you.
behind the
We
scenes,
heard you.
bro.
sir.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
enough. That's enough.
The people that's
He's poisoning the ether.
God.
All right.
No,
So a
I'm not
lot of
biased. I
people
let
was
him talk, and I
yeah,
gave him a lot of
you
grace. I
did.
said, even
You
if we
did.
say it, even if we do change or whatever the case is, the reality is other people called American. Okay, then you move the goalposts. It's another thing. It's another thing. It's another thing. It's another thing. Okay, we just don't. We really don't have the time to be dealing with that. He went past his timer and all that. So we're just not. We're not doing that.
Yeah, certain demographics have been rushing the chat. So this is what I like to tell everybody. I may not agree with you the way you identify as, but I'm not going to focus on that and tell you what you're going to get and what you're not going to get. What I'm thinking is the issue with foundational Black Americans is that we're very vocal. We are making moves, but they don't understand that we're being fair to everybody. So like when we speak about reparations, we understand that not everybody was enslaved, and we understand American Indians, the copper colored ones, were basically on the plantations with some of us. So some of them were with us, right? And so we're not sticking to just chattel slavery when it comes to the lineage. We're sticking to dates that we were all here together. But we don't go around saying, don't call yourself American Indian or we can't help you out. And they get up here and they do this to us and even call us slave babies and stuff. And that's why I asked you the last time, Afro, if we could have a conversation with the American Indians. I don't really deal with the people in etymology and stuff because I do know that words change meaning over time. And I've seen on video court cases when the people try to enact that, no, I'm not black, I'm this and that. The judge looks at the clerk and says, you know what they're talking about? So I don't know. I don't think that anybody has the right. Well, no, let me not say that. I don't think that what they're saying is necessarily true. I do think that's an old book that they're
It's
using that may
outdated. It's
not
not
necessarily, it's outdated, right? That's what I want to say. But
it's
I don't like the, why don't you just call yourself American? Because we're black. There shouldn't have been no argument about it because we're not telling you not to call yourself American. We know who you are when you say American and some other things, right? So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. Okay, Zizi, do you have anything you want to say, and then we'll move on to the next hand?
No, I agree. I love the way that you handled that though too. I get what he means because I see a lot of people who try to get into like the different definitions of black and you got these sovereign citizens out here. I mean, I hear what they're saying, you know, but just like BX just said, I've seen videos like that too where people got pulled over. People, I mean, a lot of different situations, and people try to use that language and they still got their ass locked up. They still was found guilty. They still was, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's not as easy as, oh yeah, well they just won by the pen, so all we gotta do is just go by the, you know what I'm saying? If it was that easy, I'm just saying, no. And black meaning original, we are the original Americans, we are the original people of this land. So yeah, and yeah, there's white Americans running around calling themselves American. So I mean, YT Americans call themselves American, and then you have other groups coming here, these immigrants, Jamaican American, Haitian American, whatever the case. So it's like we have to be very specific. If we just say American, the language is going to be too confusing. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. And like I said, I wasn't even trying to argue with if what he is saying is true or not, but let's just deal with what's in the now.
Right.
We have to deal with our current situation. In our current situation, America is not considered a race. America is considered a nationality. So we have to deal with it like that. All right. That's the way we have to deal with it. I'm not saying that we're not real Americans or the true. I've never made anything against that. We are black. There is a racial category called black. Black means different things depending on the circumstance. It can mean a shade. It can mean a racial classification. It can describe. It's a lot. Come on now. But come on. Let's not. Let me see. The Last Star Boy. You got it.
All right. First of all, I want to say thank y'all for bringing me up because I be trying to get more information on the whole FBA thing. I am a Black American, a foundational American, and a lot of lives that I've been to have been like really racist and stuff like that. And I'm not like a super racist, hateful person. So it's kind of like I'm trying to gain an understanding, and people just like be dragging the Africans, and like I kind of get it, but at the same time, it's just too extreme for me. And I respect y'all because y'all really express everything in the way that needs to be expressed without degrading people, without really like using a bunch of slurs and stuff like that. So I first want to say thank you, but it does kind of feel like we as Black people have reached a point in history where we're surrounded by enemies again. And I feel like we kind of keep going through this cycle, like historically when we become enlightened and aware of ourselves and aware of our contributions to the world, and we look around and we realize we let all these people in to our culture and to our knowledge and to our enlightenment, and they got their swords drawn, and like we really didn't know, like they've been plotting against us. And so it kind of does feel like we're at that point again in history where we're surrounded by enemies. But I feel like this time like it's different because we're more aware of it because of history of it historically happening so many times. Like this has been happening to us like since the biblical ages, I feel like, and like we're more aware now. So we're responding to it differently. And I feel like a lot of immigrants kind of do want to humble us for some reason, like as if slavery, they want to trade places with our lineage, like as far as like us being American, and they feel as if we haven't done enough with our power. Some I feel like some of them feel like we think we're cocky, and because they think we're cocky, they feel like the need to humble us when in actuality we never intended to influence the world. I feel like that's just God's plan. Like when we move through the world, we influence people, and it's not something we set out to do. It's just like a natural gift that we have, just because we're naturally talented. We're always enlightened. We're seeking more enlightenment constantly. Like, we're unique. So of course, when we go through the world, we enlighten people and inspire them. Like, we've never stopped doing it. So I just think that we have to learn how to, as we kind of go through this journey together, this new movement and this new enlightenment, we have to keep God with us and make sure we stay prayed up, and make sure we, we're praying for our community and praying for guidance and knowledge and things like that as we go on this journey. But I just feel like, yeah, like, like if you look at history, like the colonizers have really never worked alone against any type of indigenous Black Negro community. They've always kind of had allies with other type of smaller communities that have joined in on the colonizers' mission to oppress us, to gain some type of resources, or to use us for prosperity, for knowledge, or something like that. But I wanted to ask the Africans, I don't know if there's any more people up here on the panel, or the immigrants in general, not just the Africans, but like, do they feel as if they're doing better than a Black American, specifically in America? Like, is that a goal for them? Do they feel like they've achieved like the ultimate American dream? Like, do you compare your level of success to doing better than us? And also, I think, like, having just debates with statistics with passport bros and red pill people is not really helpful to our community. And, like, it's really harmful energetically. And we have to start really realizing that energy is real, and those people bring a certain energy into our environment, into our community, that really throws us completely off. And it's throwing us off because we don't connect to that energy. And so we have to really stop just even entertaining people like that. Like, their entire purpose is to be harmful. But I really just want to come up here and say thank you to y'all, because I really appreciate the conversation. BX, you always be on point with the information, and it's good to like come into a live where I do feel like there is some type of deceptive takeover, happening, where these immigrants are trying to. I don't want to keep saying immigrants because it's offensive to some people, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like, I feel like they are trying to come together against us, and they're willing to side with the enemy, white supremacy, to get that job done, because they've never valued themselves more than white supremacy. And I do feel like we are the most pro-Black, pro-human, pro-humanitarian, pro-justice people on this planet. And I feel like, we've never really compared ourselves to white men or white supremacy, or view that as, the goal for our community. And so we've been set apart for a very long time. And yeah, I just feel like thank y'all. So thank you for having a healthy conversation. I'm gonna drop down and just watch, but just keep that in mind. It's a lot of us in here because we hear you, we feel it, and y'all are really like, speaking to the people right now.
Thank you. I appreciate you. The thing is with the passport people is that, and I'm glad that the red pill movement is kind of died out. There was a thing a few years ago where people were like super red pill and all of that stuff, and now the whole red pill manosphere stuff, that's kind of like that's mocked now. That's the thing. That's relics of the past. Okay, because most of these people turned out to be extremists. You know what I'm saying? Most of them don't even speak on dating now. They speaking on politics and other social issues. But I say that because what happens is that what they'll do is cause a lot of confusion. You know what I'm saying? So he'll get on a panel and then he'll start saying statistics. And there are some people who believe if it's a statistic, it's correct. Some people don't understand that you have to factor in context with any statistic. So if they just hear a statistic and they feel like it's correct, then they're going to be manipulated into the ideology of red pill or the passport bros. So that's why I had to let him say what he had to say, because he wound up looking foolish once I put his statistics into context. His statistics, not mine. I put his statistics into context, and then he started raging out. All right, so that's why I did it. But yeah, they do waste time. They do. I agree with that. Thank you. Let's get to let's see who's been here. Now you did say this, or I think his name Bimp, or I don't know how to pronounce your name at the bottom.
Yes, that's fine.
Yeah, you said you
Hi.
had an answer to his question.
Yes, I do.
Okay, can you state your race and ethnic? Well, you're black, but can you state your ethnicity, please?
Yes. My name is Rosemary, and from my accent, you can tell I'm African.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm a Nigerian, actually.
Okay.
Um, I have been listening for a while, and I have listened to everything, and you guys have said so far. I have a couple of concerns, though, and answers. First of all, I'll start with the answers. So, for the last guy who spoke, he made mention of if we as Africans come here and we actually think we maybe we try to do better for ourselves and make some money if we think like that's what makes us better,
Mm-hmm.
or I can't really I don't remember how he really asked this question. But here's one thing about Africans that some people don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
So, first of all, I'll start with coming from Africa. It's a thought. Most of our countries, they're third world countries, like you all know. It's a struggle for us over there, and then we come over here to make life better for us. When we come here, you know that the what do they call it? The word that he used to say. There's a slang he used to actually say where he says, "Get rich or die trying."
Get rich or
That's
die trying. Okay.
so. That's the situation for us. So when we come here, we do not come here with the intention of trying to belittle anybody or trying to make people feel. But let's get something straight. I acknowledge what you guys said. I do understand that some people come here and they actually make the whole this disrespect you're talking about. If I tell you I don't know anything about it, I'll be lying. So I understand your concerns. I understand that sometimes some Africans like say things like, "Oh, um, we are the lawyers, we are the doctors, we're this, we're that." It's true. That can be true, but at the end of the day, I'm not appreciative of the fact that we try to make it look like it's an African thing. I believe like if a black person wins, we all win. That's how I look at it.
Mm.
So this disrespect that you talk about, I actually want to lean in towards the disrespect that we're talking about right now. So I have heard situations or things like you said some minutes ago where you say we call Black Americans lazy or like maybe they don't go to school as much or they are not intelligent. I don't personally I don't think so because right now I'm in school and like a ton of my like more than half of my class, it's true Africans go to school, but more than half of my class are Black American women, more than
Okay.
half of my class.
Okay.
So I'm not going to sit here and say Black Americans are not doing well for themselves. I can say that from where I stand.
Okay.
My best friend currently is a Black American lady. Um, if there's anything I have learned over the years, coming from where I lived in Nigeria, sometimes people fear what they don't understand. So I'm saying this now from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be from um, the African side. Sometimes the Africans don't understand y'all's culture. And like I said, what you don't understand, you fear.
Mm.
If
Okay.
you've noticed, most or some Nigerian men or African men actually marry Black American ladies. But I had a friend who looked at me one day and told me, "How come you all don't marry Black American men?" So I'm looking like I got confused at the question at first, and then I thought about it, and I'm like, well, yeah, she's actually right. Like, but I now realized sometimes the culture is so different, and because we don't understand it, they get scared to even try it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me speak to what you're saying, so we can move because we don't have too much longer. But let me speak
Okay.
to what you're saying. Right now, you acknowledge, and I'm glad that you did, and thank you for that. I'm glad that you acknowledge the fact that there is disrespect that comes from Africa. There are people who will feel who come here and they will spew false narratives that they're harder workers or they go to school more and they're more successful. When you say they are Africans or even Nigerians, they are the doctors, they are the lawyers, that verbiage is kind of problematic. There are some Nigerian doctors and some Nigerian nurses and some Nigerian lawyers, but they are not the doctors. Because when you say they are the doctors, you're making it seem like one total 100% or even most of them are that. But they talk like that, and then they talk like that in comparison to us. Every victory, and I know you said that you feel like a victory for black people should be a victory for everybody, but
Yeah.
too many of them feel like their victory for them, they need to rub it in our face.
No.
And it's always a thing of, I'm glad I'm doing better than you. Look how much better I'm doing than you. Like there's some type of rivalry or competition. And it's not just Nigerians. We see this with the diaspora in general, that we're starting to peep game that there's some type of rivalry that the diaspora has with us. So that's what
I
we're
understand.
seeing, and that's what we're calling out. And you really just acknowledge that.
I did. And I'm saying this, I use Nigerians because I'm a Nigerian. I can speak
Hmm.
for other African countries. Um, I feel like we have a bigger enemy out there. Like pitching against each other does not, sorry. Pitching against
Uh-oh.
each other does not make the whole problems we have go away. So we have a bigger fish to fry. So
Mhm.
this divide is only going to like give room for we have some lizards we have back in Africa. We call them the wall geckos. Sometimes they go in through the
Mhm.
walls when your walls are cracked. So that's how they come in by when we have cracks in the wall.
Mhm.
So me, from my perspective, I think we should all like try to understand each other's culture. Okay, for the best friend I have right now,
Hold on, but for the
when
sake
we
of
work
time, for the
together, when
yeah,
I came,
hold on,
yeah, when
because here's
I just want to make a point real clear.
real
When I
quick.
came in at first, we didn't understand each other. That's because we talk different. So I am a more direct kind of person. Like you annoy me, I am here. I just tell you outrightly, no, 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 you can't do this. She is more like passive, like not too direct to the point. And we kind of had a clash because I didn't understand her, she didn't understand me. But over time, we kind of understood each other, and now like we look at each other,
Mhm.
and she'll be like, "Oh, just go away,"
Yeah,
because I know it's you.
and I understand.
So
The more you're with somebody, and I'm doing this for the sake of time, but the more you're with somebody, the more you are
yes,
going to be able to be compatible or at least
yes,
understand their culture. And you know what I'm saying? You guys
yes,
can be, and
yes.
that's great. But the
So
thing, but here's
so
the
please
hold on,
let's not look
hold
at
on.
this. Let's not look at
I
each other
understand,
like
but
we're
hold
being
on.
disrespectful.
I
Okay,
But what I'm saying is that unity and camaraderie requires everybody to be on the same page. That's the thing. Right
yes,
now, we are realizing that everybody is not on the same page. So we're addressing the people who are problematic for us all to be on the same page. Because the thing is that when we address them, then we'll have somebody come and try to tell us to stand down because under the guise of let's be unified. So under the guise of let's be unified, what FBA get told is that we need to turn the other cheek and ignore
no,
disrespect under the guise of unity. Now, nobody else gets told that they need to ignore their disrespect for the sake of unity. We're the only people who get told we need to sacrifice dignity for the sake of unity. And we're not, that's not real unity. That's exploitation. And that's not what we're
I
doing
understand.
anymore. So hold on. That's not what we're doing anymore. So right now, we've been having an issue and an ongoing issue. So right now, it's time for a circling of the wagon. Okay, because let's be honest, everybody is not on the right page. Everybody's not on the right page. Sometimes you need to clear the room. Okay, sometimes you just need to get everything out, and then you need to bring with people who need to be there. Everybody's not supposed to be on board. Okay, you have problematic people on this big ship. We need to get them off. All right. So right now it is tension going on, but the tension, and it's unfortunate, but the tension is necessary for the greater good. Okay, this circling of the wagon, okay, this clearing the room is necessary for the greater good. All right, Zizi, do you have something you want to say? And then we can move on.
Yeah,
I
let
know
me
that.
just a 2 cents because I do want to get to the next person as well. But I did catch at the end. She said that a lot of Africans come here and they're ignorant to our culture, and that's why there's a fear there. I don't really accept that excuse because a lot of them come here and y'all ain't scared of white people, white tea people. You're not scared of white tea culture. You're not scared to get to be in proximity to white tea or even other groups that are here that you don't have any relation to or that are not near your country. So to come here and say that, oh yeah, well we're just ignorant of your culture and that's why we just fear that. That's kind of like a cape for anti-blackness. You know, that's a little bit of a cape for the vitriol that you may have because many of y'all do know about our culture, but you just gather your own feelings and you have these colonist perspectives intertwined within your culture, and so you come over here with that mindset. That's not ignorance. That's just prejudice, to be honest.
I have lived in the US for 10 years and I am just getting to know about this Essence Festival. I didn't know it was a thing. I just found out about it when this whole rumble started about, how they're trying to take over the culture and all of that. So I know you think like we know a lot. Most times we are caught up in our own little bubble.
But
I learn a lot from my friends.
But the
Our
problem,
work.
and I was saying this, I want you to just listen to this real quick, okay? Just
Okay.
hear me what I say, and then we're gonna have to move on, okay? In no disrespect, I feel like we've been having a respectful, mature conversation. The thing is that if Essence, if and a lot of people are saying that they didn't know. If they didn't know, then why, when we said it, why did they get offended? If they didn't know, then why, when we said, hey, Essence is supposed to be about our culture, why was it so much combat? Why was it so much defensiveness when we said that? If they didn't know, the same way with Juneteenth, because we had to say this about Juneteenth again and again, if they didn't know about Juneteenth being our holiday, why, when we say that, why is it all like, no, no. It's always a pushback for people who claim that they don't know. And then when we try to educate them, there's this pushback. So it's less of them not knowing, and it's more of them playing dumb as they're trying to take over things. All right.
Okay. So about the Essence Festival we talked
But
about,
but I
I
think you
hear
should
a lot of
land there.
things.
I'm because you feel I'm feeling something and it ain't good. So I think you should land there because we got to move on. But thank you.
No problem.
All right. Okay. Let's get to Rotheads LLC.
Yo, once again, I'm just back chilling. No, man, to stop the anti-FBA propaganda, I believe it start with gatekeeping, man. You know what I'm saying? We need more proud black people, man. We gotta protect our shit. SHIT. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The lady before me, you know what I'm saying? I noticed she said we are the doctors. No, y'all not. You know what I'm saying? I was in the class of 138 students. It was one Ghanaian woman in there, and I was her tutor. Y'all not the doctors. You feel me? All I'm saying is, yeah, man, we got to start protecting our stuff, man. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man. The propaganda start with keeping everybody else completely out.
Hey, yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. Let's get to. We want to get to the next. Let's get to Black Barrel. I might have to put you on the timer, Black Barrel, but let's go,
That's
Black
fine.
Barrel.
That's fine. Hello, everybody. Much love to the host. Thank you, Afro, to the panel. Out of respect, I got kicked out. I'm not a passport bro. Okay.
Okay.
But you know, I agree 100% with you. I thank you for having this conversation. Um, just going through my book here from the census of 1930. You know, my great grandfather born in 1867. Okay, I could trace my roots all the way back to a damn, and excuse me for the language, retrace back to breeding farms. Okay, so I agree 100% with you with the respect. I tell everybody here to know your history, know where you come from. I participated personally. I'm 54 years old. I participated personally in sharecropping in Arcadia, Louisiana. Okay, my my grandfather left Mississippi after Emmett Till, and none of the things that we have today, if it wasn't for the war veterans that we had from World War One and World War Two, and how we were treated when we came back home, and how we stood up for our rights, which paved the way for so many others. So, like I said, know your history. I think everything you're saying is facts. Um, I have nothing. I'm here to support. So I mean, I identify as black. On this census, it says Negro. Okay, so that's what it is. I appreciate y'all. Keep up the good conversation, man. And
Thank you.
don't let nobody steer you away from what is true. We know the truth. Y'all study the truth and keep it moving.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Let's get to somebody at the bottom. Suitman,
Settle mom.
Suitman. Okay, where are you from?
Yeah, I'm African. I'm from Senegal.
Okay. Well, what's on your mind?
All right. So, I was listening to this on YouTube and I had to come to TikTok for the first time because of what you guys were talking was interesting.
Can you speak
And
up a little bit? Some people are saying they can't hear you.
all right. So can you guys hear me all right now?
Yeah, that's better.
Let me switch to my microphone directly. One sec. How about now?
Okay, much better. Yeah.
All right. So, first of all, I want to say that I'm from Africa, obviously, but I have no like hatred towards any black person anywhere around the world. When I come to the U.S., when I come to the United States, I come here as somebody who's doing pilgrimage, right? And I'm not the only one. If we go about the statistic when they say it's like 40 million Black American, uh, there is like billions of African out there. So when some people generalize and say some things and say like y'all are like this or like that, it's really not fair because there's a lot among us that wants to reconnect, that felt like our ancestors have fought for Americas to stand for black people inside America, like still exist, right? A lot of people believe in that, right? And also, if it was not for all the revolutions that happened in America by black people, there wouldn't be decolonization in like most African countries
Very true.
because they influence like a lot of to like fundamental rights of voting, emancipation. I'm telling you, I can just go on and on and on by how influential Black American culture or Black American people
I'm
have
gonna let
been.
you get 10 seconds so you can land because we running out of time.
Yes, I want to say this just to recognize, just so for to like to just talk about my position, but also I felt a little bit of a bias when that guy from Liberia was giving his opinion as a Liberian who lives in Liberia. I think you would have done better by letting him finish instead of just cutting him the way you did. And when you see like somebody like Beast Pappy, he was talking and he was going deep into something that I consider like as a rabbit hole because he was just almost saying that like white people, like Black people are the white people, and that's not fact, and that's like the delineation because I'm looking at the chain you have on your neck, the flag. What is that flag called? Say it, please.
This is the Black American Heritage flag.
Okay, so do you know that? I know who made this flag, like the artist, the person, and I'm related, like family related to him. You know,
By marriage or something, or
Oh my God.
no, it's deeper than that. Listen,
Please don't get up
okay.
here
Well,
lying,
for the
because some
sake
of
of
us know
time,
his daughter.
listen.
for the
I
sake of
know
time, I want to get to the fact that you said I was being biased.
bias.
I let
Yes,
him first. He came up, and this is something that we're used to. They come up and they talk about unity, and then they say that they don't understand the issue, and then I say, okay, well, that's fine. Well, let me express to you what the issue is. And once I expressed to him what the issue is, he tried to make a false equivalency to something that happened over 200 years ago, and then he mistold the story of that. He's mistelling the story of Liberians so he can make some false equivalency to the disrespect that we have to deal with today.
but
So
for the
that's
question
why
you
I
ask him,
was
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but for the
okay, but
question
no, so
you
okay.
ask him
So
a
that's
question about which
no,
was
no, I
Liberia.
asked, sir,
Go ahead.
okay, because that's what he was doing, and I was telling, because that's not true. That's incorrect information. Okay, that's incorrect history. So he's being disingenuous, and this is not the first time I've dealt with that, which is why I already knew how to rebuttal his points about Liberia. I let him go. As I was rebuttaling him about his points about Liberia, he came off his mic and would not stop.
Okay.
And we have to move on with the conversation.
I do understand what you said, but when you ask him the question about was Liberia colonized, and he was giving you an answer, you didn't let him finish.
No, I did. I heard what he said. What I said was Liberia colonized? He said no. He said you all Liberians welcomed them with open arms, like, hey, Black family, here, come into this land. And then we took them over as slaves. That's a lie. That's
Yeah,
not what happened.
the way he like
Sir,
gave that
what he
statement
said
was
was a
wrong.
lie.
Like was
Okay, and you're
wrong.
trying to defend what he
No,
said.
I'm not
What
trying
he
to defend.
said
I'm
was a
trying to
lie.
bring
He
a
was
light on
lying.
the truth on what he said. Where the like the name Liberia, because of like I'm from Africa. I know what I'm
Mhm.
telling you right now. The like we consider Liberia because Ethiopia somehow was uh, on the process of being colonized, or some part was colonized by Italian, right? But when they say these two countries, mainly we're talking about Liberia because of the fact that
Okay.
it was a free uh, country, and it
It
was
was
free.
not.
It
And
was
that's
free.
the narrative. It was not free. It was not a free country. It was not. It was less colonized than other African countries and other countries, but it was not a free country
Okay,
where they were
so what you're
independently
saying
able to
right
do
now
what
is
they
going to
wanted
be
to do.
like a
It was
very
not, sir.
general statement that can fit to any
And
countries.
what he said, sir, what he said was incorrect. And I corrected him on the history because he was trying to make a false equivalency. All right. And every time we bring up the disrespect from the diaspora, you all try to either downplay it or make a false equivalency instead of taking accountability and correcting your behavior, which is something we just keep saying do. It's
But
not that
whose
difficult.
behavior?
The response is always making a false equivalency or downplaying what you guys have been doing. All right. Okay. Or you're embellishing on things that you guys have heard. We say that that's been rude. I was more than graceful with him. And then he kept cutting me off, and I have to move on with the conversation. When I'm not going to have a back and forth for too long with one individual over something and he's clearly lying about. Now let me ask you a question. What do you think about the anti-FBA propaganda coming from the diaspora? What do you think? Why do you think that?
What I think is like, first of all, when um I don't believe nobody has the right to say, okay, you don't have to create your own view of things, your own political, like, view or whatever it is. Anybody can do whatever they feel like doing, right? But when it's about like when it goes far deep to delineation, like saying we have no trace, no nothing, like with Africa. I think that's like that's not correct to me. Like that's
Okay, well, what do
my
you
view.
think? Let me ask you again. What do you think about the disrespect that our lineage faces from the diaspora about us being called slave babies, uneducated, lazy,
That's not
people with
correct.
no culture that we
That's
keep,
not
sir,
correct.
that it's not correct. But
Yeah,
yet
that's
you
not
didn't.
right.
I had to ask
Nobody
you,
has to
sir,
say that.
listen, I had to ask you a second time before
Go
you
ahead.
said that, because the first thing you said was, yeah, I mean, people can have different political beliefs. We're not talking about political beliefs. We're talking about a culture and an ethnic group being disrespected. And then you're saying that delineation, we shouldn't delineate. Okay. No, this is the necessity of that. It's necessary for us to do that. The same way you do that with other Africans. Okay.
Okay, that's not what
We're
I
not going to
do.
sit up there and say we
That's not
can't
what
do
I
that, and
do.
you do that with
That's
other
not what
Africans.
I do. But what you
Bro,
do
where
is
are you
okay.
from?
You
Where are
can
you
do.
from?
I
Where are you
told you
from?
already. I'm from
No,
Senegal.
tell me again, please.
I'm from Senegal, West Africa.
You're from Senegal.
Yep.
Okay. So if I say Senegalese people and Nigerian people, it doesn't really matter. They're the same. You would say that that's incorrect, wouldn't you?
Well, you know what I would say? We all African, but
No, you
Senegal.
would
No,
say that if I said the
no.
Senegalese
You asked me.
culture, if I,
You don't have to
sir,
like
don't,
put the
please
answer
don't,
in my mouth. That's
sir,
bias.
don't,
Like
please let me
that's
reframe
not
the
Can we
question.
okay.
can we
Stop,
move on? Can we
stop,
move
sir,
on?
stop, sir. If don't do
Can we
that.
move on?
No, you can be quiet now, sir. Listen, if I said Senegalese people is the same thing as Nigerian people, and they're the same as Jamaican people, and they're the same as Black American people, the culture doesn't matter. You would say that that's incorrect, wouldn't you?
No, I wouldn't say that. You know what I
So
would
your
say?
culture,
You know what
sir.
I would
Okay,
say?
well, you're lying at
You
that
ask
point
me a
then, because it
question.
does
Don't say
matter.
I'm lying, but like putting answers in my mouth and saying this
No,
is what
you're
I'm talking about.
incorrect.
You
You are
gotta know.
incorrect because it
Okay,
does matter.
okay. You know what I'm saying? What I'm gonna say to that? I'm gonna say we are all African first, but I'm from Senegal and they're from Nigeria. You know, it's two different like geographical place, and also we are not the same ethnic group. You know,
Well,
because in
okay,
Senegal
so
you
what's
have
the
different
difference
ethnic
then
groups.
when we say it?
No, no, but we have some point of unity. That's what I don't
No, y'all
want to break.
don't. No, you
No,
do
of
not.
course we do. We do.
No,
No, we do. We do. We do.
no,
We
you don't.
do.
Not more than us. We have more points of unity than everybody because everybody's coming over here off of our work, brother. Everybody's coming here to
No, no, no.
America.
We saying
We're
two
not
different
going to
things.
Senegal.
You
We're not going
giving
to
me an answer.
Nigeria.
Yes,
But Nigerian, sir,
yes you
listen,
are. Yes
sir,
you are.
listen.
Maybe
No,
you are
no,
personally not.
no. We don't
You
have
maybe you
hundreds and
not.
thousands of Black Americans immigrating to Senegal and
Man,
immigrating to Nigeria to live there indefinitely.
man.
Okay, I'm
You
not
don't
talking
know.
about a
You don't
vacation or two,
know. You don't
sir.
know.
I
You
do
don't
know.
know.
I do
You
know. I do
don't
know.
know.
Sir, where do you
You
live
don't
right
know.
now?
I
Where
can
do you
give
live
you
right now?
references.
Where do you live right now?
That's not the question that
No,
you
no.
asked
Where do you
first.
live
I'm
right
gonna
now?
give
Where do
you.
you live
I'm
right
gonna.
now? It's very important.
No,
Where do you live right
no.
now?
So if that's
Where
what
do
you're
you
gonna
live
do, I'm
right
gonna
now,
let you
sir?
with your
I'm gonna let you
chat.
go. I'm gonna let you go. Just tell me what state you live in or city. Where do you live right now? Right now?
Just drop me because this is what you've been
No,
doing.
no. See,
No,
where do you
you
live
gotta
right
do
now?
that because this is not the way. You don't put wood in my mouth, man.
I'm not. I'm asking a
No,
question
no,
as the
no.
host, and you need to
That's
be
not the way I
respectful and
converse
answer the
with people.
question.
Just drop me.
See, now notice that they want to talk about Africa and unity, and they live in America. If he lived in Senegal, he would have said that.
Yeah.
But he doesn't live in Senegal. He lives in America off of our work. Okay. So you want to talk about some unity? We've been the ones sacrificing for everybody to come over here. So we're not going to sit up there and play this game like they all get along because they're not fighting for other people. These people don't have a history of fighting on behalf of other people's best interests. We are the only people who have a consistent history of fighting on other people's best interests, not our own, actually to the detriment of our best interests, but for their best interests. We have been doing that. All right. And he's over here he's clearly over here off of our sacrifice. And he's not even going to be honest about it. He's being disingenuous, and he was disingenuous from the beginning. They always start off with, I see black people the same way. Okay. He said he's from Senegal. He didn't say Africa. He said, well, he did say Africa. He specified he's from Senegal. So he sees himself as Senegalese, which is different from Nigerians or Liberians or Ghanaians and all of that stuff. They know the difference. And then when we say, okay, well, if that's the case, then we're different too. Oh, no, 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 let's not do that. No, let's do that. Y'all not going to play this game where y'all get to have ethnic pride and we don't.
Find funny the way they try to tether onto every little thing, right? Um, like the flag. The one of the
Yeah.
co-creators of the flag said the Black American heritage flag. Like he said this out of his mouth. It's on video. And so now you're talking about, their family members and stuff. But we got words from the co-creator.
Right.
So I think he was going to try to, I don't know if maybe he meant his friend makes the jewelry based off the flag. But we already have words from one of the co-creators. The other one has transitioned, if not mistaken. But yeah, he in the States somewhere. And so this is what I want to say to them. Wherever we go, Black Americans, we increase value, right? So if we move out internationally, guaranteed we're coming with our own resources and we're going to invest in any way that we are allowed to, because Africa has restrictions on what we can and cannot do there, even though they want us to come home. Let's start there. So there's 20,000 Black Americans in South Africa, but I hear they're not a problem. The only reason why that South Africans started complaining was to try to use it as an aha moment when we were going through the Zulu New Orleans thing. But when I said, come on, tell the truth, are they bothering you really? Well, are they over there taking your resources? What are they doing? Are they invested in South Africa? She said, yeah, they're not really doing that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So anywhere a Black American goes, we're not siphoning your resources. We're bringing our own money to you. But when y'all come here, and y'all only y'all only pushed into like our impoverished areas or maybe the outskirts, right? So you don't see ours in middle class, but y'all are pretty much gentrifiers to the communities that y'all redline to, which is ours. So even 1% of the immigrant class coming into our areas, it's a trickle effect. And I've been researching this, and I just said this yesterday, I think, on your panel too, Afro. So I don't want to hear this, we need unity and stuff like that, when y'all are siphoning our resources. And then you're not pouring it back in, you're sending it out in remittance. Now, it's not our fault if the continent, your country, the people you're sending it to is not doing what they're supposed to do. But stop asking us for unity. I think y'all have y'all priorities mixed up. You're not in the rooms with like-minded people, which would be the Pan-Africans. Y'all not focusing on how to fix your problems over there. Y'all just focusing on how to siphon more and more and more and more from us. And you know the reason why they're calling us a hateful and stuff? Because they don't benefit from us being vocal and finding out the treachery of what they're doing to us, right? They benefit more from our silence. So if we are silent, they're our best friends. They're not calling us slave babies. But the moment we say, ho, 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 this isn't economically conducive to us on this land, and it's not, they have an issue and we're a hate group and they're comparing us to the Triple K and all this other mess. But we ain't knocked them upside the head yet. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Um, ZZ,
I
we're
think
gonna
Dread is
respect
next
your
because he's
time.
been there
How
so
long? How long you
quiet.
got, ZZ?
Um, we can do till like 7:30. I still got to get dressed.
Okay, 7:30. So what's that like?
Like
6 minutes?
5, 6 minutes, 5, 6 minutes. Yeah, I got to get up off here.
6 minutes. Okay. All right then. So we'll get. I guess we give everybody a good minute each. Okay. Let's get to not promo.
Peace. I'm trying to keep it quick. My parents are Caribbean, but I was raised by a black woman since I was 3 years old. I don't know them. I just wanted to throw that out there. But
Okay.
what Africans don't understand, what they don't understand is that they have beef with each other too. There's a whole bunch of tribal wars over there too, and they don't understand that the only unity that they got is against us. That's when your unity come together, when y'all come to this country and say that, oh, we Africans, we not black, we not those slaves, we some different slaves. Nah, really you are a field slave and you coming over here to be a house slave, because if you really wanted to come over here and change some shit, you would be with black people who's been fighting since the fucking existence to change some shit. So I'm not trying to hear the, oh, where's the unity? I got a nonprofit, right? My nonprofit serves youth that are being incarcerated. We got the pre-court diversion program. There's other organizations in the program that are like African. We have East African Community Services. We have CIN,
Mhm.
Congolese International Services. They do not take black kids. They only take African kids. We take everybody, all kids. And
Mm.
that's what we have been doing since the beginning is looking out for black people. So don't come over here and say that you black. When you want to be black, you black. When you not don't want to be black, you not black.
Mhm.
When as a black Muslim, when I give them salams, they do not say nothing black back.
Mm.
So I don't want to hear we all one. You would not let me marry your daughter, and you would not want your son marrying our women. So I don't want to hear we all black. Y'all have to take that and internalize that and actually come back with some substance and say, hey, we with y'all in the fight and not doing no bullshit. I have a woman on my in my organization that was pregnant before she got a higher position. They
Mhm.
want me to fire her because she was pregnant, right?
Damn.
So another black woman from another organization came to the meeting and cussed the East Africans out, right? Cussed them out like a black woman does. What did they do? They ran to the funder and got that black woman placed on administrative leave and said she was physically attacking people. She never physically attacked nobody. She was getting loud and cussing people out. That's what y'all do. Y'all run to the police and y'all say that we black and it's anti-blackness when it affects y'all, but y'all be the first ones to be anti-black because somebody did something that you don't like. And just like how bro was cutting you off, they try to hold themselves in such an esteem, like, oh, don't tell me, drop me. You could have dropped yourself, bro. But you want to stand up here and act like you have some type of authority or dignity over us. Like, but we dumb black women. One of those people from that other organization said that when I came over here, I thought all black men were dumb. I own my own nonprofit. I
Mm.
help hundreds of kids every day beat the court system. I was in prison for 10 years of my
But
life.
you're gonna have to land it shortly.
Yeah, that's it. But that's real shit. And I'm not gonna keep it like be nice with y'all. Y'all police, y'all are house niggas, and that's how y'all come over here. Y'all not one of us. Period.
Notice, okay, and then we're gonna move on to Kingpin, and then we're gonna get to Eric. Before we get to Kingpin, I want to say, notice when I said address the disrespect that we face from the diaspora, he refused to do that.
Yep.
We all talk about unity, 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 and I don't see a difference, and I want us all to get along. And I say, I say, you know what? Fine, that's great. Let's address the reason why we have this problem. They don't want to be honest about that. So when they say unity, what they mean is for us to turn a blind eye to being undermined and disrespected and ridiculed. Okay, they want us to go back to having low ethnic self-esteem and us feeling like they have some type of higher culture than us or a better culture, and they get to wag their finger at us. They can't do that, and that's what they call unity. So if I say, hey, unity, okay, well, you got to address the disrespect. Oh, well, let's not do that. Let's not do that. But you're not going to go to their pages and say, let's talk about unity, and then not address us. You're coming here to tell us to stand down. We're not going to stand down. I would never tell us to stand down. You want to talk about some unity, you need to address where the problem started, get to the root of the problem. And if you don't want to do that, you're not being honest. Let's get to Kingpin. You got it.
Appreciate you, yo. On the prompt here, stop the anti-FBA propaganda.
Uh-huh.
I think it's very important to stop the anti-FBA propaganda, but I just wanted to go over a couple of different points. You have to ask the question: is it possible to stop the anti-FBA propaganda? The reason I say is it possible is because these people are using the same speaking points of the white supremacists. So with that being said, they are backed by the dominant oppressor of the United States, the white supremacists. They echo the same speaking points, that we're lazy, that we're uneducated, that we don't want to work, that we can't learn other languages, that we're drug addicts, that we haven't created or invented anything. And these are the same speaking points that the white supremacists have been using against us for decades. So I don't know if it's completely possible to 100% wipe out or stop the anti-FBA propaganda, because, like I said, they are simply joining forces with the dominant society that has been perpetuating those stereotypes and propaganda for decades. However, there are ways that we can combat it, and it's very important. And I think disaggregation of data is a very important way of combating it. The problem is they dump a lot of their trash on our side of the fence, meaning when it comes to being black, they'll dump their criminal statistics over onto the side of being black. So that means the stereotype and propaganda that black people are violent, that black people are criminals, it's being perpetuated, but it's also being added to by the data that is coming from the black immigrant class, because
Mm-hmm.
they are committing crimes, they are selling drugs, they are violently attacking people. As a matter of fact, during COVID, when the Asian people were being attacked, a lot of those people that they showed on the news that were black attacking Asian people, those were immigrants. However, they dumped their trash on our side of the fence, so it all falls under the numbers and statistics for our black demographic. So I think it's important that we disaggregate that data. For those that are listening, go to your local politicians. Make sure you check anytime there's a chance that the census may be updated, and make sure that you are trying to disaggregate that data by making sure we have FBA on the census records,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can choose FBA and we can disaggregate from just this blanket of blackness. So that's one way. Also, we have to make sure that we take this threat very seriously, because I'll try to make it fast, because
Yep. Yep.
propaganda is dangerous. The way the mustache man turned an entire nation against the small hats was through propaganda. They started putting out little flyers and distributing media against the small hats, and it turned an entire nation against them, and it became extremely violent. It became a
Yeah.
humanity.
Yes.
Uh,
That's why this propaganda is very. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so once again, we got to make sure we're disaggregating this data. We have to also attack the misinformation by educating people. So when that gentleman was up here talking about Liberia, and that the black Americans came over to Liberia and enslaved people, that was propaganda. He was saying that even back then, you people were violent, you were attacking Africans, and that's not true. As a matter of fact, if you do your research, you'll see that Liberians were not enslaved. You can research all you want. They were not enslaved. Were they used for cheap labor? That happened. And were these people that went over to Liberia, were they all freed
And
enslaved
yeah,
people? No, they were
that's
not.
true.
Some of these,
That's
half of them were actually free people of color. Half of them were free people of color that were never enslaved. Um,
okay.
so,
But
so,
yeah,
so,
that's yeah. But we for the sake of time, we really don't have no
oh, yeah,
time.
yeah. All right, I'll go ahead and I'll just land there.
Yeah, and that's true, and that's we got to combat the propaganda. Eric, you got it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like I was having some network issues. So, I mean, from my accent, you can tell that I'm not American. I'm not Black American. So, but I appreciate that you gave me the opportunity to share my perspective when it comes to this topic.
Okay. Where
Actually,
you from? No, where are you from?
yeah, I'm about to say that. So, actually, I'm from West Africa. The country is called the Ivory Coast. It's somewhere
Okay.
really close to Ghana. So, it's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. But first, I want to thank you again for, also allowing me to speak because one day I was going around, but it was a different topic where somebody was saying that, oh, African people, they don't like us because blah, blah, blah. All those ideas that we are more savage than those living in the US, all those ideas. So I was like, okay, guys, can we just come together and try to understand? And I was trying to share my perspective, and it looks like it was not going on the way she wanted me to speak.
Okay,
So
but
she,
yeah, what's your you got a timer? We got so
Okay,
what's
how many minutes? Okay, okay. Ooh, okay, 2 minutes. Okay, 1 minute. All right. All right. So one thing I wanted to share here is like it's really unfortunate that this is happening. The problem here is like we both African American, I don't know how to call it, but Black American,
uh-huh.
and we immigrants should sit down and have like vulnerable conversation and have more compassion for one another. It's unfortunate. I've seen some of you, or mostly Black American, fighting for Gaza. I saw a lady going down the street tearing the flag of Greece. She think that was the flag of Israel because she feel like okay, people are destroying Gaza, blah blah blah. But she doesn't even know where Africa is located. But that's another topic. I don't even know how am I
It
going to
is.
land it. But I just want to let you guys know it's unfortunate, but we all don't think that way. I don't know how people notice that we don't like you, but we do love you guys. We were back home, we watch all those movies, we were all dreaming to come in America, make life. But it's really unfortunate. I don't have much time left, but I just want to let you guys know we all need to come together. We don't have to be friends, but as long as we share that skin color, we all need to come together and figure out. We need to have a vulnerable conversation. Why do we think that way? And why do you all think that way? How can we fix it?
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, we all have one problem. The person who colonized us will keep colonizing. When they see this type of videos,
And
they're gonna make fun of us. I
that's
don't have much
yeah,
time left,
that's
but
true.
I just
Hold
want to
up,
thank
but
you.
we don't
Okay,
have
thank
any
you.
more time because she has a live stream she has to get to. She's actually given us a lot of time going over. I will say, love is one thing, and I'm sure a lot of you all do love. Respect is not love. Okay, you can
And I
love
wanted to share
somebody and
something
not.
really quick
I'm
about the
saying, hold on,
respect
brother.
thing.
You can
Okay,
love
go ahead.
somebody or a group of people and not respect them, not show them respect. That's not automatically the same thing. A lot of times it goes hand in hand, but not all of the time. Okay, and we don't speak for all of Africa or all of the people on the continent. But the thing is that we are seeing a pattern, a consistent pattern of disrespect that we got to address. So come back and then we can address it. Even though I've given solutions multiple times, but come back and then you can listen into the conversation about how you all need to address the diaspora to end that. All right, but thank you. Let's get to my brother Foundational.
Peace, peace. Thank you for having me, brother. Let me know if you can hear me. All right, I'm lighting up. So one thing about it, I love when people come with the docile energy. We all one, we all friends, my brother, my brother. But not understanding that this has been going on for the last 65 years, right? We've been pouring our empty cups into other people for the last 65 years, and they haven't been reciprocated at all. It's not about feelings. It's not about I don't like you or your culture. It's about what you guys have been doing to undermine us on a political level, on a monetary, or on a financial and an economic level, and on a social level too. Right? You can see my two pin videos of number Africans calling us SLAVE and all kinds of the most nasty things in the world. And so now you guys want to work together. Now we all kumbaya. Now let's all get together. But we have a in the Bronx, we have a little Ghana where you guys took our money and then separated yourselves and made a little Ghana. Then we have a little Senegal in Harlem. Then we have African town in PA and Philly. Then we have a little Congo in PA. Then we have a Minnesota. We have a Somali town, and I can keep going. So you guys separate away from us and claim this is unity, but it's not real unity. It's social unity, economic warfare, where you guys economically are at war with us, and that's what's going on. And so what's going on is it sounds good. You can't talk this unity stuff over here with us, but on the continent, you guys are warring all up and down the continent from Sudan, from the civil war in Ethiopia, from South Africa with the Ghanaians, with the Nigerians, and the Ghanaians with the Nigerians. And we can keep going on how you guys are warring with each other. So you want to talk this unity stuff, but you guys not even united over there. So show us how it's done over there first before you come with the my brother, my brother. You guys are, yeah, like the brother said, Afro Elite, we have to have respect first. You guys have been on a day-to-day basis disrespecting, denigrating, and saying the most vile, nasty, root or demonic things that can ever been said. You guys are on the line of what the YT is, to be honest with you. And as a matter of fact, probably a little on a higher level because the YT even know not to say certain things to us. They know what happens if they say certain things. You guys think because you're the color of your skin, you can say whatever you want to say and y'all get away with it. So that's the problem. So before you come over here and with the my brother, instead of coming over here, what you have to do, you got to fix the loud minority because you guys are the quiet majority that allows the loud minority to go ahead and run rampant. So you, the quiet majority, have to fix the loud minority, go wag your finger at them and tell them, hey, stop doing this. Let me take accountability. As an African, this is not right. Don't come over here wagging your finger at us and telling us what we should do, how we should operate, or none of that. You got to go over there and start stepping in front of that. Because what we have, and I'm going to land it right there because I don't want to take too much of your time. I appreciate y'all. We'll continue this at another time. Thank you so much.
We will. I appreciate you. Thank you, brother. Like I said, respect and unity is two different things. I'm giving the solutions, but the thing is that unity is not going to be exploitative. Okay, you want unity, you're not unified with someone you're exploiting. All right, you're not unifying with someone you're in competition with, and this is something that we're recognizing. The fact that you guys brag about quote unquote doing better than us. The question was asked. One brother asked the question. He was all like, why do you got, like, is that your goal? Is that your aim to quote unquote be better than us? Why do you guys feel the need to even specify your superiority, your projected superiority? Because we don't do that to you all. We don't sit up there and get a job, be all like, man, we're doing so much better than Africans. We don't feel that way. But you guys feel that way to us in particular. All right. So we definitely have to have this conversation to combat the propaganda. So thank you all for your time. All right. I'm gonna let Zizi go ahead. Oh, you're going live on YouTube. Give us a sneak peek. What are we talking about tonight?
I gotta go back and look, but I know I'm talking about this Howard situation that's going on. Apparently, Howard is putting some of the students in debt. Something like the scholarships are being null and void and things of that nature. I sent myself a bunch of links. So I'm gonna react to that on the podcast. I think that's my main topic. Actually, my main topic actually is the Howard situation. But there's a couple other things too. I just got to go through. I haven't even made the thumbnail yet. That's what I'm like.
Okay. You got it.
I gotta get ready for this.
Just go to her. You want to find her thing. Go to her profile. The link is in bio. She's about to go live on YouTube. So go there, subscribe, and all of that stuff. But go ahead.
But final thoughts for sure. Delineation is key. You know, we have to keep our foot keep the pedal to the metal. This is going to be a reoccurring problem, unfortunately, not only from the dominant society who are trying to sabotage us. That's the usual. That's just their history when it comes to interactions with us in general. But also these other groups that are trying to undermine what we have going on. You know, a lot of them want to be in proximity. A lot of them want to be, you know, they're comfortable in these quote unquote buffer classes. So they're going to do what they can to stay in proximity or get closer to the proximity within whiteness or YT power. And a part of that is, it's undermining our delineation movement, you know, but we have to keep the foot on the gas. The propaganda is absolutely egregious. We have to continue to call it out. I love some of the points the brothers made up. I'm glad he asked that question. Why do they have that competition mindset? Because that is a problem. And that's part of the reason why we're seeing the FBA propaganda is because of that competitive mindset instead of a unified mindset against our open enemy. But this was a good conversation. Honestly, I wouldn't be mad at doing it again, to be real. This was such
we need to have this. Y'all go to her. She's about to go live. Okay, y'all can just click the link on her bio and then follow her because she's been so fair with her time, hasn't she? You know, we were supposed to be off like 15 minutes ago, and here she is still talking and giving us more time. So y'all gotta follow her. You know what I'm saying? She's so generous with her time. All right.
But this was a good panel though. I think this was better than yesterday, to be honest. Yesterday was like, we had Yesterday was tense.
Yesterday was
It got
tense.
up there. Okay. Today I feel like we worked through a couple things, even though we had the passport brother situation going on. I think this was a little bit more constructive than yesterday. So yeah, but I wouldn't mind having this conversation again for sure. This was cool. But shout out to the panel. Thank you for the gifts. The chat was cool. So yeah. Good
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Yeah, and that Howard situation is a pretty big deal, so y'all got to listen to what she has to say. But BX, thank you. Can you close us out, please?
Sure. So here's where ZZ, I was about to say, I'm over it. But Afro, you kind of know what's going on behind the scenes, and if y'all were in Issues Live earlier, then y'all understand why I'm just over it. Because I think that no matter what we say, what we do, they have an agenda. And they're playing the good cop, bad cop. And whatever sticks is what they're going to roll with. But it's too much disrespect and not enough how can we help you. It's just let's remain unified. And we're telling y'all that it's not working for us. They're not asking what can they do to help us. And my thing is this. I want to get Yvette Clarke out of government, right? Because if she's supposed to advocate for all black people, why is only the Caribbean securing the wins and whoever else that she's advocating for? But we can't get HR 40, which needs to be scrapped anyway, past whatever stage it's at. And they're only willing it out now because they're upset with Trump and they want to look like they're doing something for us. But what I do know they're doing is they're up there giving illegal immigrants money. They're up there willing to get arrested. I was patched into a town hall call, and all I heard was immigration, Trump is bad, Medicaid for over an hour and a half. Who's speaking for foundational black Americans but us? So shout out to our activists that are securing wins, like New York State getting foundational black Americans and American Negro descendants on the state census. Now we have to collaborate with the other states to make sure that the verbiage remains the same, because I noticed California is reading a little different and we don't want it to coincide with each other because we got to be a unified front no matter if we're regionally different. So of course I'm going to mod because I love your lives, and everybody knows when Afro Elite goes live, I'll be back, y'all. Afro Elite's coming live. I got to go. And so I would be willing to revisit the topic, but I'm pretty much over it.
I know,
it's like
I know.
they're
You're
always
very
going to have
frustrated.
prophecy.
You got tether fatigue for real. So I do. I
Yes.
understand. And I respect your patience tremendously. I really
Yes.
do. So thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, nah,
But what I will say to you, because at the end of the day, I'm riding with you no matter what the topic is, and we're going to keep order on this platform. You are a breath of fresh air. Pretty much when I ask you what time you go on live, is trying to kind of figure out if I could get you here more regularly during a certain time slot. But the good thing about having you, Dr. No Job, even Ish, because she's new here, on TikTok, live at the same time, is that we could panel hop. We could room jump. So if we don't feel like messing with the Latinos, we come here, we see you addressing propaganda, and Ish, she's doing her music therapy and she got a lot of receipts. Ish has a lot of resources to prove that they are the hate group and not us. So no matter what your topic will be, like the next live, which I gotta ask you, when would that be? So think about it. I'm gonna be here riding for the Lineage and for you, Afro, and ZZ, who is co-host here when she shows up. I'm going to ride regardless because my voice is valued here, and I'm seeing that people say they feel safe when I'm in the room. And so I'm not going to deprive them of that. Yes, and I feel safe. Oh, shout out to my foundational black American brothers, because I'm going to tell you, I'd be ready to give up. Brian be like, BX, no, you can't do that. Dread, I be having so much, the patience be wearing thin with the younger generation because they do seem to be Pan-African at times. And he'd be like, come on, BX, you're a little bit older and you shed whatever it is you had to shed. They have to go through it. Because I'm at the point, you're either here or you're there. No in between, but Dread reels me back in. So shout out to my support group on TikTok. I love y'all for real. So when is your next live, Afro? Because I'm going to be here no matter the topic.
I'm gonna text you about that, and we're gonna talk about it. But I might have some time tomorrow. It depends. Maybe what time I get back from the gym, but it depends. So I'll let you know. Okay. Okay.
Look at one of my little ones who, not my little ones, because he's a grown man, but I'm significantly older than him. He's laughing and crying down there because he's one of the ones I be talking about. with his little globalist mindset. But I get it. Stockholm syndrome is important to address. So,
Yeah.
Afro, I think that's it. I'm going to say thank you to everybody who came out, who gifted, not only the host, but the panel, who kept liking the lives. I still see the likes going up. To the 250 people that came in as soon as you hit the live, we appreciate you. Afro, I know appreciate you. So on your way out, look up by Afro's name and just click that Daily Heart mission right there to do that and show your appreciation for the platform where he allows everybody to use their voice. And you're going on YouTube right now, right?
Oh, she
Afro?
is. She's going on YouTube.
She's going.
Yes.
Okay. So then y'all go follow ZZ to find out about the Howard situation. I'll peek in and then I'm gonna jump right out. But I'm coming over to click, like, share, and make sure I'm subscribed, ZZ.
That's a blessing. Thank you. The link is in the bio.
You're welcome.
Yeah, y'all.
Okay, no problem.
Don't act like y'all don't know. If y'all don't show up there, then come on. That's lame. That's fake. Come on, y'all make sure y'all can click the link in the bio. We all know what we doing. But I know she got to go. So you all have a good one, and y'all make sure y'all follow or whatever, so you guys won't miss the playback. Also follow on For the Culture on YouTube, so you guys, so you guys can see the playback. But ZZ got to go. So you all have a good night.
Peace. Be one.
Be one.